Hello, hello, and welcome to the Book Buzz Show special edition. Um, our special segment called Books and Mimosas, where we will be just sharing our top 10 book picks for 2024, as well as some honorable mentions. And I was just telling the ladies off camera how difficult it was because, all of us read lots and lots of books. So trying to decide which ones to put on the top 10 list was not easy. So just know that there were several books that I had that also could have gone on the list. It's just I had to pick 10. So, all right. So I'm excited to have you ladies on. We also did this last year, and I'm going to make it an annual thing. So if you did not see last year's, please check that out as well. We had a great time. And also in the chat, if you have read any of the books that we are discussing, please give us your thoughts as well in the chat. All right. All right. Looks like we have a few people in the audience. Hey, Ola, thank you for joining us. Hi, Myra. Thank you for joining us. Hi, JB. Thank you for joining us. And let me see. All right, so we're gonna get right into it because we have a lot of books to discuss. All right, so I am your host again, Cheryl Brooks, and the host of the Book Buzz Show for those who are new here. And I also am the founder of I Aspire Books online book club. And I'm going to turn it over to who is going to go first tonight. Anybody? Any volunteers?
I'll go.
All right, Shavana. Okay.
So I am Savannah, aka Shay Books, and tonight I am drinking. I don't forget what it is. It ain't nothing. It's
Is what?
Okay, we know what's in that glass.
non-alcoholic mimosa.
Okay. Love it. Love it.
I am admin of several groups. A little too many to name, but I do have a podcast that will be dropping sometime this month. It's called "I Said What I Said."
What?
Co-host with Ray Tasha and Ashley Bell.
All
So
right.
that'll be dropping sometime this month. I did have it in the background, but I think that's why I was lagging because of that. The
Oh,
background.
okay. Okay. Congratulations. Remind me so I can tune in.
I will. I will. Thank you. Thank you.
I love the title.
Thank you. Thank you. So, am I going here with my books or?
Yeah. So let us know how difficult was it you coming up with your list.
So it wasn't too difficult because when you asked for the list, I just went and got all my 5-star reads.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
for this year, I only had like maybe 15 5-star reads, so it wasn't too hard. The only thing was hard about picking which 10 was gonna come on the show and which one wasn't.
Right. Right.
Okay, so my first one in no particular order was Church Girl by Naomi Simone.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me pull that up. Uh,
I don't know if anybody read that one. It
I've
dropped.
heard. I've been hearing good things about it, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
And there's the
Yeah.
cover on the screen for those who are watching. For those who are listening later, again, that's Church Girl by Naima Simone.
Yes. So this was a spicy opposites attract single dad romance. And what stuck out to me is she is a church girl and she ran from the altar. She was supposed to get married and she ran. Preacher's kid. And for some reason, I'm just drawn this year to the bad boys. And he is a bad boy. And it did help that his name was Vaughn. So, yeah. So I read that book, I know, in less than 6 hours. So that definitely
Oh, for
made my.
real?
Yes, it was very good. It was a page turner, spice level, very good. It was a good book. So I highly recommend that one. So my second book was Just Right by Sean.
Just right. All right. And there's the cover on the screen.
Now, this was not a typical book I probably would have read, and it was actually recommended to me. But when I tell you, when I got into this book, I read this one in less than 8 hours.
What genre is this?
It's a poly romance.
Oh, is it? Okay.
The poly romance. And I don't read synopsis, and I am a cover hog ho, whatever they
Yeah,
want
I
to call
am
me.
too.
So this cover wouldn't have caught me. It's a nice little cover, but I wouldn't have picked this up.
Right.
But my best friend, she actually is not a reader, but she seen it on TikTok and she sent it to me. I said, okay, I'll read it. So I was looking for something. Like I said, I opened it up, read it within 8 hours. It is just a nice love story. So
is it two? It's two men and a woman?
no, it's 3 men and a woman.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Jennifer, have you read it? I know. Don't you read Shine? Seems like I've seen it on somebody's list before.
I haven't read it yet, but I do read her.
Yeah, and book 2 just dropped, so I'll be reading book 2 this year.
Sounds good. You all, can you keep an eye on the comments too? Because I'm going back and forth between the covers, and so I don't have the feed up if anybody says anything about the book that we're discussing.
So my third book is My Choice Is You by Mel Do. I think that's how you say it.
We had a couple of people on our panel that had this one.
Okay. Yes. So this was my first book by her. So I did a challenge this year where I did a new author every month for the whole 12 months. That's why I did the Sean too, because I needed.
Now you know I told you a long time ago about the Leota clan by her.
By Mel Do.
Remember, I was telling everybody about it.
It's probably on one of my notes somewhere, but I just came across this one first. So
I had Erica reading it. I had Antoinette reading it. Jennifer. I can't remember a whole bunch of folks.
And what's the name again? All right, let me rewrite it again.
The Leota Clan by Mel Daw.
The Leota Clan. Okay.
But because you have this on here, I'm gonna have to read this. I haven't read this.
Okay. It's so good.
Yeah, it was so good, and I read this one in one sitting also. And
what's it about?
So it's about this again, another bad boy. I think it's something with these bad boys for me. But she has autism, I believe it was. And the fact that she had autism and still was able to, find love. Not saying that autistic people don't, but she got a genuine bad boy that girls wanted and wanted to fight for him. So, he wasn't just no reject that nobody wanted.
Right.
And she got him. And then he was just so protective of her. And then just the love that he showed for her. That's what stood out mostly for me.
I've never, oh no, I'm thinking about the other book. Never mind. That you said.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, Mel Daw, I love herself. But I haven't even, I still need to go back and read a lot of, I think Erica and Antoinette have read just by her entire catalog now.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. So that's even more encouraging for me to hit all of her. Yeah.
Yes, I've read every single one of them.
And she's got another character that has autism. It's in The Spectrum of Love. It's just amazing. Manages to educate, and then, like Shavonna says, the romance piece out of it, because you don't look at it as an autistic person,
right?
Person with autism. So it's like you forget that they even have it once you're all caught up in the story.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. And it looks like we have another person in the audience. Hi, Velva. Thank you for joining us. And if you just came in, if you all have read the books that we're discussing, please let us know your thoughts on them as well in the audience. And make sure to take notes, because we have some good ones for you tonight.
That's why I wanted to go first, so I could take notes on
it. All right, continue, Shavonna.
All right, so my next one is Love on the Rebound by Ari Sky.
Okay, let me go back to... Is this the one that we talked about on the show? I think this is when I read. No, I read Love on the
Love on the
Ninth.
Ninth Floor.
Yeah, on the
That was
ninth
Love-
floor.
So it's part of the series. This is the second book in the series, and this is by her sister, Angela.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I love this book because Angela is a big girl. So I resonated with her. And when you're on the plus side, sometimes it's kind of harder to find love or to
Mm-hmm.
to
And you
get
don't see
men
that a lot as
for
like the
you.
heroine.
Right,
Everybody
right.
is a stick figure for the
Yes.
most part.
So and she was very confident and all about it. And I just love this book. And yeah,
Well, the
I like
first book was real good too, so I have to make sure to put this because I forgot about finishing the series because I'm
yeah,
always reading other stuff, so
yeah,
I'll have to make sure to read this.
yeah. So I'm thinking book 3 probably comes out next year because it is another sister. So I don't know if it's gonna
Oh,
be.
okay.
I mean, this year, 2025. So yeah. So yeah. This is another one that I finished in one setting. So that's how all these got these 5s because they had me on in one setting.
Yeah, if you read them fast and you
Yep.
can't put it down, that's a sign right there when you can't put
Right.
them down and you
Mhm.
rushing to get back to it.
Yep. So my next one was Lilith by Alexandra House. I think I said Lilith right.
I've heard a lot about this book too. I haven't read it though.
So Lilith, this is her first kind of messing with suspense. It was kind of suspense.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's kind of suspense, erotica, mystery. It had a lot going on, but I was there for every bit of it. And I'll tell you, Ray is toxic and a bad boy. See, I got this little thing going on.
Well, I love bad boys too. As long as they're good to the woman. I don't want nobody that's not good to the woman though.
He practically made her love him. I don't know if anybody on the show read this one, but it was something else. Cause yeah.
Yeah, I read it and I agree with you, Savannah. He was very
Yeah,
toxic.
very toxic. So, and I'm not for the toxic
So
relationships,
I'm about
but
to say, am I gonna like it? Because I like to like my male characters.
you don't know that. In every review that I don't usually read reviews, and I waited for I did a chat with them with it, and it was like everybody, even though he was toxic and this, everybody loved Ray.
Okay.
I guess because even though he was toxic, he showed the love that he showed for her and how he took care of her and the
Oh, okay,
genuine.
yeah. So as long as he treating the woman right,
Yeah,
I'm there. Because Tiana Levine does that too, where the men are toxic and complicated, but they treat the woman real good.
oh yeah, yeah. He
Mm-hmm.
definitely treated her real good. And actually, book 2 of that one just came out too, so I'll be adding that one this month.
I just
All
put
right.
it on my list because I like Alexandria House.
Yeah, and I read that one within 6 hours, and I was in a reading slump too. But I was like, well, let me see what Alexandra got going on. They had just dropped, and I was like, yep, I was up all night. They got me out my slump. So my
Have you
next,
all ever sorry for cutting you off. Have you all have ever because I ran into this recently where you read something that was so good that it took you a while to be able to get back into another book because they just, it was just, I don't know. And I went through that where I had to go through several books because I guess I was still looking for that same
something that
feeling. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So my next one is Bittersweet by Rhonda McKnight.
That's been on my list. I still haven't read it. Is it bitter? It's bitter and sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, bitter and sweet.
Okay.
Bitter and sweet. So I am not a historical fiction person.
That's not
But Rhonda has been hitting it with these dual timelines. And I loved Bitter and Sweet. And I loved the other one that came out last year also. And I devoured this one too in no time. So it was, I don't know.
it's
It
on
was
my list, but I think I haven't read anything by her. But I think I saw her on something and they were talking about this book and it sounded like something that I wanted to read.
yeah. It's a really good book with the present and the past about these sisters that go home to help, take care of their grandfather. And then the past is more like is their great grandmother and what she went through. But yeah, it's a very good book. So
And I usually don't like dual timelines, but once I do my list, you'll see that I have a few of those on there too. So it depends on, I guess, who's writing it because I usually don't like it because it takes me out of one of the stories every time it goes back and forth.
back and forth, yeah. Now I don't know if it helped that I listened to these on audio.
Hmm.
That might have made it, because I listened to her other one and this one on audio. So
Okay.
I don't know if I would feel the same if I read them. Because sometimes the books I read versus the books I listen to, they have, well, I don't reread nothing, but some
I
books
know she always getting on me because I reread stuff.
some of the books if I start reading it and I'm like, I'm not getting into this, but then I find it on audio and I listen to it, they get like a whole different rating from me because the audio kept me interested. I don't know if it's the book or if it's just the people that read it. So
Yeah, like I told you all, like, once I find a book that I really, really love and I love the characters, I'll go back to it multiple times. Like I was telling you with Iris Bowling, I've read the Heart series several times. I read Gems and Gents several times. I read D. Camille several times. Because when you're in a slump and I'm like wanting something that I know is going to be good, I'll go back to it. But usually it's been like a while before I've read it, since I've read it.
Yeah, no, ma'am, not reread.
When I'm in a slump, I get something really, really, really trashy.
You know what? That's a good. I like that.
When I feel myself getting in a slump, then I go to something that's really, really trashy, and then after that, read. And most of those books aren't that long, so once you read one,
Right.
then you kind of like it's like decompressing. You just said, and then you're ready to go back to your regular reading.
I'm gonna try that. I like that idea.
Because I don't have time to reread. There's too many books out there.
Tell again, Mama Tony. Tell again.
So you haven't read the Heart series multiple times?
No, ma'am. As much as I love Iris and own everything that she got right out there on my shelf, and the new one dropped on my Kindle on January 1st. But guess what? I don't have time to reread. I don't have time to reread. Now I may go back and scan if, let's say, we're going to have a chat,
right, for a chat.
Talk about a book. My method for that is I read the first chapter, a chapter in the middle, and the end. I look at my review, and that gives me enough to bring the book back to me.
And Mama Tony told me about that, and I started doing that to give
me
you
told me that when I was doing when I had some old books
girl, I got over 4,000 books in here. Reread what?
Reread nothing
but the Bible. I guess I'm in the minority on that.
I reread too, Cheryl.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's just something comforting about certain books.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
they don't understand. They don't
y'all
understand.
already read it. I have so that I think. I don't read. No. So,
what's your next one?
So I got K-Shanae this time around. And when I
read this too, yeah.
Yeah, we read this one because I read this one because I did the show with you.
Oh, because the show, yeah.
This one. But when I was going back to looking, I gave it a 5 because it was a good book. But evidently I didn't write my review out.
Oh, okay.
And I don't read synopsis. So I tried to go back and read the synopsis to kind of refresh my memory.
And you still couldn't really remember. But you loved it because you gave it a 5. So that's what... Anybody else read this? I read it, but it's been so long ago, I don't really remember what it was about, so I can't help you with it.
It's on my list for this year.
But I do remember enjoying it. I do remember that. And you know what I had to do for some of them to refresh my memory? I had to actually go back and look at the broadcast if I had them on the show. If I didn't have them on the show, I looked at it, like you just said, the review that I left. So I could remember, what it was about it that drew me.
You got a built-in cheat sheet on that one, don't you?
Yes. Oh man. Oh, let me see. It look like we have a comment. Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, we got quite a few.
Hi, Islin. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us. Islin, I was telling everybody in the audience, if we talk about a book that you've read, please let us know your thoughts as well in the comments. And Myra is saying Bitter and Sweet is a good book. She highly recommends it. Yeah, it's on my list. So I'm gonna definitely check it out. Myra's agreeing with you and Mama Tony. She does not reread books either. Antoinette is agreeing with me and Erica. She rereads also. And welcome, Antoinette. Thank you for joining us. All right. You have the floor again, Shabana.
All right. So my next book is Why I Slept by Lakeisha Johnson. When I
what was it about? See, like you told me about. I think you told me about this book.
I might have told you about Last Call. Not okay. Okay. But see, I read Last Call yesterday. See, that would make my list every year.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't reread, but I think my Last Call would make a list every year because that book was just. I was in the middle of Dollar General shopping, listening to that book because I was asked to review it on the audiobook. I stopped in the middle. I stood down there 10, 15 minutes because I couldn't believe what I was listening to. Lakeisha, she is a pastor. She is a woman of God. But her mind, I'd be like, where you get this stuff from? She's like, God give it to me. This book right here, While I Slept, it has so many twists and turns. I can't really discuss it to you without giving away the main plot and stuff. Okay. But I highly recommend that if you ain't read nothing by Lakeisha Johnson, Last Call, Why I Slept, Marriage Bed, she just got so many. There's nothing I've read by her that hasn't wowed me.
Okay.
But yeah.
And I told you I ended up downloading after you told me I ended up, but I downloaded one that you didn't tell me about, I guess. You like
when I hadn't read.
Yeah. So I plan to read her as well.
Yeah. So this is a suspense read. It's a little quick. It's like 74 pages, so it's a real quick.
Oh, it is okay.
Real quick read, but it just have you on edge the whole time. So
okay, and I love stuff like that. Again, for those who are listening later, that was While I Slept by Lakeisha Johnson.
You'll be shocked. You'll be like, what? No, got to flip back. That ain't So yeah. I should leave you. So my last. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I'm sorry, Siobhan. I was just gonna say it was a couple more comments that popped up.
Oh, was it? Okay, let me see.
An hour after you finished your last.
Go ahead. Let me see. I don't know what that means.
Instagram or on the regular feed?
YouTube. I didn't on Instagram.
Oh, you did.
I wonder why it's not showing up. I don't see it.
It was one from JB and then another one from Purple Jam Girl. They came in with Myra's comments.
What are they saying, Erica? Because I don't see it for some reason.
JB says she doesn't reread either.
JB.
And Purple Jam Girl says I reread when a new book is coming out, especially if there is a long period of time between continuation books.
Yeah, I've had to do that too. If they took a long time to bring out the second, and I can't remember.
Same method works. The first chapter, middle chapter, and the end.
Basically, just the end.
Especially if that author has gone from point A to point B, and you ended at point A, and she starts one, you not lost at all. I promise you, ladies, try it.
Reread my whole book. All right. So my last book in my top 10 is Out of Body by Nia Davenport.
Okay, well, let me bring it up on the screen. All right.
Now, Cheryl, you would love this. I think you would love this book.
What is it?
It's actually a YA book. Again, I did a couple of tours. Well, I did more than a couple of tours last year for some PR people, and this was one of them. So this one was about a 17-year-old girl. She went out to party with her best friend, and when she woke up, she was like laying in the grass and stuff. And when she went home, knocked on the door, her parents were like, why are you at our house this time of night? And she's like, Mom, what are you talking about? She's like, why are you calling me Mom? I'm not your mom.
Oh, I would love that.
And when she looked in the house, she seen herself. So when she found a mirror, she was the girl that she had went out with. So it's like an out of body
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out. I just put a star by it.
yeah. So that was a really, really good book. I really enjoyed that. I
Was this
thought
your first time reading something by this author?
it was, yeah,
Okay.
yep. So, so it was an actually good book. But I've come to find out that a lot of YA books are sometimes better than the adult books.
Really? Because I don't like a lot of YA.
Oh,
They have
yeah.
to be very mature because if I feel like I'm back in high school, it drives me nuts. But
Okay.
I like Nia Forster's YA because hers are I don't even know if she considers it YA or a new adult, but um because they're usually mature characters even though they're young.
Right.
Yeah. Who's up next?
Okay. You want me to wait on my honorable mentions?
Oh no, do your honorable mention. Sorry.
Okay. So on my honorable mentions, it was a little harder to pick those. So I chose Sorority Code Case by Jacqueline Thomas
Okay, yeah, I remember you told me about that.
and Ignite by Joan Vassar.
And who?
Ignite.
Okay, yep. I love that one too. And I still have to read the one sorority code case,
Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
but it's
those
on
are my
my list since you told
two
me about it.
mentions.
But yeah, I love I love anything Joan puts out just about. Well, I love everything she puts out, but she knows I have a love hate relationship with Troy.
And see, and those books, like I said, I'm not really into historical fiction and stuff. But I think
Mhm.
with Rhonda with the dual timeline, and then I read Ignite for my book club meeting with roundtable readers. I think I'm getting. I think I might like them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to give you some good suggestions, some more suggestions. Um, and you definitely need to check out the Black series if you haven't read that. You'll
I've
love
started it and stopped, so I just need to finish them.
it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
one of my favorites. And then you can never go wrong with Beverly Jenkins, of course.
yeah. Yeah.
I told you about her before when we were talking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some that you should start with. And any who you think she should start with for Beverly Jenkins, you all.
Indigo.
My first book was Indigo.
Yeah, that's what everybody's told me. Indigo.
Indigo.
Mhm.
Either that or Vivid.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, yep.
It's a toss up one. Either one.
Ooh, or
Okay.
Midnight.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong though, Shavana. You
Yeah.
Midnight.
you'll love
Vivid.
them.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you get plenty romance and steam with it, and you get some education. She's gonna teach you some stuff too and entertain you. I highly
Okay.
recommend them.
Vivid.
Um, I have a
Her
few historical on mine.
young adult books too. Josephine and
Belle.
they're
Oh, yep, yep. You're right. Yep.
I got ready to say it and it just did that. Yeah. But even though they were young adults, they were good reading for for adults. I enjoyed them both, even though they were billed as young adult books.
Right.
And these by Beverly Jenkins also.
Uh-huh.
Here
Okay.
go. I don't know if it's gonna show because I have my thing on, but I have this one is Nighthawk. That was
I
good.
thought
Yeah.
Jewel. That was good.
Okay.
And Midnight that you just said, Erica. That's right here too.
only difference really, Shavana, with Belle and Josephine is there's no sex. That's the only difference.
I'm fine with that. It's Josephine who?
Josephine is the second book. The first book is Belle.
Oh, okay. Okay. Same author. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. I read no sex books too. I'm like Mama
Yeah.
Tony. When I need something, I get the smut going.
Yeah, and believe me, I got some smut on this Kindle.
No, Mama Tony, and I just finished cuffing season for our book thing next week, so I got me some smut.
I don't mind the smut as long as I get a good plot because I don't like it just straight sex. I used to when I was like in my 20s, but now I need me a good story to go along
But
with
see, at my age, I'm looking for what I'm looking for because I need to live vicariously.
it. I hear you. Oh man. All right. So who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
I'll go ahead and
Jennifer, you going?
yeah, I'll go ahead and go
Okay.
next.
Which book
Okay.
you doing first so I
My
could
name is which book I could do doing first? Troubled
uh,
Waters by Z. Renee. And my list was is a mixture of unhinged, emotional, and all of that. And I had a hard
Yeah.
time.
Go ahead. I interrupted you and introduce yourself and what
Um, my name is Jennifer Copeland. I'm an avid reader. I'm a reviewer for Romance and Color. I also have my own review blog, which I'm going to revamp this year, called Jenny's Cozy Book Corner. And I'm just an avid reader and supporter of authors.
and she admins for
And
several
yeah, and I'm an admin for several authors in their book group. I'm also a moderator for Cheryl's group. Um, and my drink for the day, Cheryl, you're gonna be
uh-oh.
surprised, is not hard. I'm drinking a strawberry daiquiri
Okay.
wine cooler
Love it,
today.
love it, love it. All right, so you can get into. I'm trying to wait a minute. I know I put it on here. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So her first book is Troubled Waters by Z. Renee.
Trevor Waters, Z Renee, she is a new author, and she was a new to me author. And I be on TikTok a whole lot. And so when I saw the cover and I saw everybody talking
Mm-hmm.
about it, I decided to dive into it. It is an emotional read, and it does read the trigger warnings because it might not be for you, but it is a beautiful love story between Kylo and Innocent. And boo boy did I cry, but it's a book in front of it called
Mm-hmm.
All In, but I haven't read that one yet, but I could pick up from, that from not reading that one to this one. So it was really
I remember you
good.
told me about. I think you highlighted
And
it
it
on the
kept me,
show.
yeah, and it kept me up all night. I pulled all nighter for
Okay.
that one.
That's a sign right there. If it's a good book.
And number two, my next one was a series by Connie Easton. It was featuring the Brown brothers. It was Few Words and then
Oh yeah.
Man of the Year.
And wait a minute, Jennifer. When you sent me your cover, right? Why did I just based on this cover? Because you know I love the cover. Just based on the cover,
Uh
why did I already download this? Because this man, oh my goodness, and those lips,
that's
oh my
Nicholas right.
goodness.
Yeah, that's Nicholas right there. You're gonna love him. Xander is the first book, which is Man of the Year. He's a doctor. So if all I'm gonna say, get them, read both of them, and then y'all come back and report to me.
So this is you said this
Tell
one.
me if you like them or you didn't like them.
So this one is the first
Yeah,
one.
this is the first one.
Okay.
That's Xander. That's Xander. And then the second one is Man a Few
I'm feeling the one
Words.
on the other cover.
And
Yeah,
let
see,
me
I would have skipped the first.
and
Right.
but let me tell you, these men ain't play about it. They wanted the woman and they
Okay.
got them. That's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say. But
So we got us some
number
alpha
three,
males.
yeah, yes. Number three is Deuce by Kimberly
I
Brown.
actually
And when I say I read this in a
now go ahead, Jennifer.
when I say I read this in a few hours, I because Deuce is all of us. Deuce, woo, Deuce was something
Now
else, but Deuce is Bay.
is this mafia romance or is this just
It's it's not mafia. I don't consider it mafia,
okay?
but it is. They do a family business though, so
Okay. Because I actually I downloaded the sample, but so I'm gonna put it on my list since you
yes,
okay,
y'all
Erica
know I
got
don't.
eyes and she went up.
Um, y'all know I don't recommend nothing that I wouldn't read to
Mhm.
nobody. My number fourth pick was Prince by Bree Charday, and this is part of a series, so you'll have to. You don't necessarily have to read the first two books.
Mm-hmm.
The first book is Priest by the brothers. It's about Priest is the oldest brother, and no, Priest is the youngest
What
brother.
you say?
Prince is the oldest brother.
What up,
So
yo? What up, podcast?
Hello, hello. Who is that?
that was my oldest son trying to be funny. Y'all excuse him.
Hey, I admire reading these books. Hey,
But anyway,
keep on reading them books.
All
I
right,
wish
wait a
I could
minute.
read as good as y'all. Y'all do y'all
Jennifer,
thing.
while you doing that, I'm gonna bring up some comments because I see we have some comments out here too. Uh Isla is saying, Mama Tony, she will try that. She talking
Hey,
about with the, I
yeah,
guess,
she in the book
from
club.
the first
I
book,
didn't even
the,
join it because that
the
book she was
middle,
reading that
and
day.
the end. Antoinette, Shavana Antoinette is saying, check out Night
Nice song.
Song by
Okay.
Beverly Jenkins.
You can't go wrong either way, no matter where
Yeah.
you start.
Yeah, and Myra is saying Indigo.
Okay.
I don't think you can make a mistake no matter where you start. So
Right.
I really don't.
And that's what Ola is saying. Everything is great by
Mhm.
Beverly Jenkins. Antoinette is saying, um, Deuce is something serious. It's a new family, or it's a new family series. Okay.
Erica, was you looking at that book cover the way I was? I seen you go down there too, like I was.
Which
I
book cover was which
We was
one?
looking at Prince.
I was laughing at and the glasses
um,
fell, and you
You was
got me.
laughing at who? At me.
well,
Yeah, I
all I'm gonna
didn't see
tell
what you
y'all,
were
all I'm gonna tell y'all, Prince is Bay. Prince is Bay. When y'all
Oh,
read
really?
it,
Okay.
Prince is Bay.
What?
Now I never read this author before, so I'll check her out. Um,
I'm gonna need to cover up on a side by side while I'm reading. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And love the tattoos. Yeah.
Between this one and the last one, Jennifer recommended. Didn't you say he was a doctor? And what was that? Man of the year.
Yeah, but this is the
You
one
were.
that drew. This is the one that drew me
Yeah,
right here.
this one that drew me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man of the year. Xander is a doctor.
Doctor Feel Good. All right
Yep.
now.
All right. Yeah.
Well, when you read it, you just report it. Just come in my inbox, and we can look. We can discuss it. We can discuss all of them. I'm down for it.
So
Oh man, what's your next one, Jennifer?
My next one is "Beautiful Noise" by Casey Mills,
Oh,
and
this is
I'm
on
just
my list,
read it because it is a beautiful love story, and it is music is involved.
and that's a sweet spot for me. So yeah, I love music and sports
Like, stand up and do it.
mixed in with the romance. So, and I love this cover too.
Yes, I do too.
This is beautiful. I may have to have her back on the show to talk about this book.
Casey
Oh,
Mills
and
does
it
some
is so good. It is so good.
Like, stand up, nigga.
And again, for those who are listening later, that's "Beautiful Noise" by Casey Mills. What's the book
Um,
about, Jennifer?
um, it's about a singer and a songwriter. The songwriter, she had. I'm not gonna give it away, but when she tried to get into music,
Mm-hmm.
and she she retreated back home, and
I think you muted yourself, Jennifer.
she moved back home to her hometown to a hometown, and the person, the guy, the male character, he came out and he basically met her. But it's good. I don't want to give too much of it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. It's on my list when she first told. I think when she was on the show, she told me that it was gonna be coming out. So it's on my list. I'm gonna definitely make sure to get it. Um, what was next on you? Was that the
Um,
on the ran up?
my next one is Taint is that one was good as well, and it delved into a little bit of, I want to say, a little bit of erotica.
Okay.
So
And
it
you could
was,
kind of tell, was she a dancer or something, or is she just
yeah, she was a dancer.
okay? Because I could tell by
She
the
was yeah, she was a dancer, and I want to say the guy owned the club, because it was like an exotic club or whatever. Because it's
okay.
been, I read that like maybe towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Jennifer, that book
and
431 pages. Good
Is how
grief.
much?
431 pages.
which one, Shavana? That one?
Yep, planet.
Whoa.
As long as it's good, because I can read a lot of pages, but it's got to keep me.
That's
It's
what I
got
was
to
gonna
keep
ask
me.
her
It's
if
got
it
to
was
keep
a
me
page
engrossed.
turn. Yeah.
Because a couple on my list are like
Oh, it's gonna keep you engaged.
okay, yeah. Because I have a couple on mine too that are like 500 plus,
Mhm.
and one of them is 700 plus.
That's
Mhm.
a big A book.
That's like
When I tell y'all that you won't you'll be still wanting more after it ends, even with it being
oh wow.
yeah.
That's a commitment.
Hello.
That is a
That's
commitment.
like spiritual book. Right.
And one of them I actually highlighted on the show. So that was the 500 one. But
I got to hear this listening.
oh man. But believe me, if I read 700 or some pages, it was good. It was good. And then I used to read Outlander too, and those are like 1,000 pages.
I'm
Oh
trying
yeah, that's right. She told me about
anything that long.
Outlander. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Sure, I did ask my aunt about Outlander. She watches the shows, but she hadn't read the books.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
she's going.
tell her she definitely had to check out the books because the show is great, but the books are just epic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like Game of
might
Thrones.
try to. Yeah, I might try to get them for her. Yeah, she loved Game of Thrones, so she read those
Yeah.
books.
So yeah. Outlander is probably it's still like one of my tops as far as like a one of epic love story. Um Across, of course, because it's across time, across centuries. But she does it well, Diana Gabaldon. Jennifer, did you have another one? Was that it? I can't remember. Did her thing go out?
I'm sorry, y'all. My thing went out for a little bit, and then I had to move from the location I was in
Oh, okay.
because they wanted to be
The
loud.
kids decided they want to come.
Yeah.
Did you have another one or was
Um.
that
My number 7 pick was "Make It Real" by Cammy Holt.
and I've been hearing you told me about this author before, but I heard a couple other people talking about her
I
too. So I'm
can't
gonna have to
see,
check
Erica. Stop laughing at me.
What up, Shavana? Yeah.
I can't see. That's why I got to do that.
I could say I see
that.
spin on it.
Say
I like
what?
this. I like this cover too.
I was teasing. I
Yes,
said
and
spin on
I'm
the
gonna have to
cover.
make it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make it big on the screen.
You
I'm
can't
gonna
see it.
tell you,
Oh no,
I'm
that
gonna
thing is
tell you,
small.
Merc is Bay. Merc is Bay. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Just
You got too many
look, get
bags.
into it. Look, all of them was Bay for different reasons.
Oh,
Oh man, yeah, because you did say that it, all of them are Bay for the most part, but
And what was that last one? Girl, be taking them down too quick. I gotta see, then I gotta write.
what was it? I hope I deleted.
Make it
make
real.
make it real
By
by
Cammy.
Cammy Hope.
Okay.
Number 8 is Capture Beauty by Tay Monet, and that's a dark romance retelling of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
And that was, yeah, and that was my first foray into dark romance. Now I've been reading them like crazy.
I can read them as long
But
as it's not too dark. I don't like it when they, when the lines get blurred and stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
oh, but you would enjoy this one. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
okay, and I like Table.
My
Check it out.
my number 9 pick was Come Up Full Court Press by Aubrey Penn. And this is, I think this is the second book in her series.
Okay.
And it was good as well. It's a sports romance, and it was just everything.
Yeah, I like sports romance.
Now, Erica, you see how long she left that one up?
Did I take the other one down too fast? Oh man. I had that up here for a minute,
You
Shavada.
did. You
I'm
had
talking
that.
about the other one that you're talking about. I had it.
You did.
Oh man.
And I
And
I
my
thought I had Tay Monet's book up here, but I don't see it. Oh well.
and my 10th one was August by M. Monique.
And me and you both had
And
that. I have to give her due. I did highlight it on my show, but because Jennifer also had it, I moved it to my honorable mentions. But she also was a pick for me. Love, 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 love this book. Okay, go
love,
ahead.
what was the name
it
of it
was
again?
a August
August.
by M. Monique.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the cover. Wait a minute.
I agree with you, Jennifer. I found her last year and binged her whole catalog.
Oh, you have to go back and look at the. She been on the show twice, I think. And because she was on for Still Waters, that was good.
Monique.
I
And then she was on for. I don't know. Did she was she on for August, Jennifer? I think she was on for something. No, or it was for the
She, uh,
beginning of the series. Or
yeah, I think it was
for
for the.
Blue. It was
I
for
think
Blue.
she
Yeah,
was on for Blue,
yeah, for Blue. And you, oh my goodness. But I told her
and if Blue,
yes, Blue. But then Um, and then what's the other one's name? He knocked it out the park though, because I thought Blue was my favorite
Kingston,
until Kingston.
Kingston.
Kingston,
Kingston,
oh my, he just knocked it out the
Kings.
park.
Yeah, Kingston is August's brother, but the healing that August had to do, and
Yes,
he
yes.
did. Oh, it was just beautiful and emotional. And I'm an emotional reader, y'all, so you could pretty sure know that I cried when I was reading some of these books.
It was very, very, very well done. And I had reached out to Monique when I highlighted it on the show, but I think she had took a break at that time, so she didn't see it. But Antoinette saying beautiful cover, unique. I'm not sure which one. Oh, you talking? She might be talking about Casey Mills' cover that we were talking about. Let me know if that's not the one you were talking about, Antoinette.
I think everybody.
I don't know why I can't find August's cover because I had it in here too, unless it knocked it off because it was too many. Um, but yeah, I highly recommend it.
And
I highly recommend it as
yeah,
well as Jennifer.
my honorable mentions were "Count on You" by Cami Hope and "A Reaper's Heart" by Kendra Nicole. And if
I
you
actually
see the
like this
cover,
one.
Oh,
yes.
I like this cover.
And the second book has come out. I still need to read the second book, but the second book has come.
Now, what is this one about?
So, so you know how long ago I read it, but it, it's sort of like a man, but I mean it'll keep you
It's
engaged.
giving dark. It's
That's
giving
all I
like
can.
dark vibes from the cover. I love the cover. The colors on it.
It's labeled as mystery erotica.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So there. So like I said, I wouldn't have I wouldn't I wouldn't have recommended them if I hadn't have read them. But I don't recommend stuff that I don't like to read. So and I know that other people would love to
Mm.
read too. So I like to read before I start recommending.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your
Wait,
things, Jennifer, is that you like to read 400 and 500-page books because both of these is 400 and 500
oh, that
pages.
was 400 too. Okay. As
Yep.
long
And
as it's good.
Well, Shavana, I like book and I love a series too.
But I'm just saying,
But I'll read
but
anything.
for them to be 400 and 500 pages and you read 800 books, you doing good.
Right.
So we know you reading. You ain't just skimming them little short books. You read.
Right, because you're right. You're right. Because sometimes it
Oh
be
no, no, ma'am.
short
Yeah.
stories.
You
But
put
yeah. Okay. So bear with me, you all. I'm going back over. Let's see.
Now the cover in book two is okay.
The
The
cover
cover
in book two is what?
is called Habits Karma and Love Off Limits. The book two to the last one she just said, Kendra Nicole. Yeah, that's
Uh,
a nice back picture.
hold on.
and you all in the audience, let us know what books you read this year that you would recommend. Let us know in the comments while I am doing this right quick.
Oh, yeah.
Did you look at it, Eric?
I'm looking at it.
I
Okay.
heard oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I like the back covers. That's different too, because everybody's always from the front. Yeah.
Oh Lord, that one 500 pages.
That's why I said it's 500 pages.
Is it 500?
Mm-hmm.
500 for the second one. The first one
And it's an urban.
is 438.
Mm-hmm.
Good gracious. Woo.
Well, I already told you on my list. I got some doozies. So
Now, if they page turners, I can do it. As long as they page turners, I can do it.
Right.
Yeah, they are definitely page turners. Or y'all, I wouldn't have been doing no all nighters to get them done because I couldn't put them down.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as they don't lose by like 1 yard.
oh man, and believe me, the ones that I have on mine that are 500, 700, and more. um, I think too that you all enjoy and won't even realize that you're reading so many pages.
Can't wait for that.
Um, I'm like Jennifer. I never steer you wrong. All right, let's see. I'm almost done. Anything in the comments, you all?
No, nothing on Instagram either.
Was that your last one, Jennifer?
Yeah, that was my last ones.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
I'll
I'll
bite.
go next.
Go.
Go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
Um, yeah, thank you. My name is Sherelle. I own the Book Readers Venue bookstore. I think you can see the sign behind me. Um, yeah, I own a bookstore. So I don't get to read as much as I used to before I decided to own a bookstore. It's like,
Isn't that ironic?
yeah. So before I owned a bookstore, I mean, I could just like read. And now it's just like, oh, well, Yeah, I can't read today. So most of my reads, I try to keep it light, but I also try to introduce a lot of new authors, as well
Mm-hmm.
as genres or something that I would not read, because I think that's really key with owning a
It
bookstore.
is.
Because you don't want to read and only recommend things that you like. So sometimes I have to get
Right,
outside my
right.
comfort zone. So that
Right.
was my challenge for 2024. And so
Well,
I
you did it. You
did
did
a
it
lot of,
before. Remember, I get you to read
oh,
the
yes.
thriller
Yeah, it was
by
Animus.
Brian W. Smith that
Yeah,
time.
Animus. Yeah. So that one, and I don't do it often, but I mean, as far as owning a bookstore, you have to do it because you just have a lot of different people coming in. And so you want to be able to make good recs, not just the same ones over and over and over again. Plus, you don't keep that
Right.
many copies of the same book uh, in stores. So you have to be able to do that. I am drinking a cranberry mimosa because the one thing about the book readers venue, if anybody's listening, you ever come, we always got good drinks here. Like,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
we
have to make
always
it.
have,
I'm gonna make a
yeah,
trip.
yeah. There's
And
always
you
wine, some vodka. Yes, I'm in Humble, but it's
Vodka
a
too.
small town. Oh, we have vodka, tequila, you name it, we have it. You know, it's just
okay?
what's a book without a good drink? But I have orange juice.
I hear you. I hear you.
Just drink the orange juice. You don't have to add all the good stuff to it. Plus, we have a lot. We do book club here, so like, yeah. So anyway, yeah, no, I am at a small town. It's in Humble, but it's just north of Houston, near the big airport.
Okay.
So it's about 5 miles from the big airport. So, yeah, come check me out. So, again, I kept my reads light, just because being a business owner and
Hmm.
still working in corporate America, it was just like, I didn't. Sometimes you just don't want to go that heavy. You don't want to go that deep. Every now and then you'll get a book by accident and you end up there anyway. And if it's really
Right.
good, you don't mind that you were there. So again, these are not in any order. So it's not like, oh, this is my first, second. Yeah. So A Billionaire Baby Romance, The Expiration Date by Kimberly Brown. It was just
Mhm.
really light and fun and flirty. And I don't know if I agree with the name of the baby that they chose, Selena, um, because they wanted to use the dad's name. I don't know about that, but I really like it, and I think a lot of us are people that's in the dating world. I'm going to get to you before you get to me, so I'll break up with you first before
Mhm.
you break up with me. That way, I won't be heartbroken when you leave me. And so Audrey, she had some insecurities there, but yeah, it was really fun and flirty. The banter was there, and he's very alpha male, very much
I
so.
love me an alpha male.
Yeah, but it was in a really good way. And then you got the supporting characters that made things funny. I think the scene when he finds out she's pregnant, I think that is like one of my favorite scenes. So again, you don't want to give away the book, but yeah, so that's one. Um, my next one is the Arranged Marriage series Passion by Monica Walters.
You
Yes.
know, I love Monica
Again,
Waters, but
Yes.
that was
I haven't, I hadn't even heard about this book. I don't know how,
It's a
yeah,
series.
the
is
series,
it?
yeah, and yeah, it's a
Different.
bunch of so it's how many different authors is it? Six, five, six?
I think
Not
it is
sure.
six, five or six.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's like an anthology.
yeah. So I like this one.
That was my
It got
favorite.
a little bit heavy. I like that the fact that there's a B rot that shows back up to kind of save the day. My favorite one,
Gang.
the attorney. It's nothing like a bad boy attorney that just like can make you disappear but also save you in court. I love it. But yeah, with this one, they both just wanted to find love, and it was like the conventional way wasn't working. So I'm just gonna go to this place, and they're gonna help me out. But there was just a lot of things that they didn't think about, or the repercussions of making this decision and what their families would do, and there was children involved, and yeah, it was just it got messy, but it still ended up really to be a really good book. Um,
It was. I agree.
Most of her,
Can't
everything
go.
I've read by her is very, very good. So I'm not surprised. I'm gonna have to
um,
add this to my list because I hadn't even
yeah,
known
and
about it
I
until I
think
saw it on you.
I don't know if you read the entire series, but what I
I
liked
did.
about the whole series, they're all very different.
Yep. They're all
It
very
was.
different.
They're very different. So it's the same series, but it wasn't like, one book you got the drama, one book you just got it really sweet. They were all very different, so I didn't feel like I was reading the same book throughout the
Hmm.
series.
So you said
Um,
it's different authors that's writing it.
I think the
Mm-hmm.
second one is the one by Aisha Bree. I
Yep.
think that,
It's
yeah,
called Allure. It's called
yeah,
Allure. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Allure
Yeah.
is the
And
next
then
one.
Yep.
Kimberly Brown has
Kimberly
one.
Brown
Yeah.
has one. Yep.
Was it C. Monet? I think has another one.
Kay Shanae,
Yeah.
Simone, Maya.
Okay. Yeah.
I
It was
Yep.
really good.
It
Yep.
was. Yep.
Okay,
And
I'm gonna
then
have to
Uh,
check it out.
the second one,
the what?
Monica just released the second one
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Mm,
to go along with
yep.
To go
Passion
with that. Mm-hmm.
Fervor.
Yes.
That one was
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah. The follow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next book is the St. Louis Sire series, Assist by Alexandra House.
Yes.
I
Wait
I,
a minute,
I
let me
like
pull
the
that up.
fact
Good
I
list.
the storyline was cut from Polo, R. Kelly, and Diddy. They like, I mean, it was
Yeah.
they landed their lives landed here. But I still like the fact that he's this bad boy, but she was able to just like, I mean, he went all gaga goo goo just seeing her, couldn't talk when both thinking the other one is a big superstar. So I really like that. But I like the fact that regardless of the trauma, he didn't judge her by her trauma. He stuck with her, and then the Mitchell boys showed up to make sure we put a tidy bow on this whole thing. So that was good for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what's next. Oh, The Queen of Marriage by Mara Prose. Now, this is a new author to me, and she's local. This is a comedy. She is she's she's good at making sure everybody else gets married and gets their happily ever after. So now she goes on this whole dating thing to find the man of her dreams. So you can just imagine she gets catfished. She gets it. There's just a lot that happens along the different dates. One of her dates, he takes a medical cocktail, as you would say, to in an effort to believe that whatever's going to happen in their date, he'll be able to keep up. But that ends up in an emergency room visit. So it's just a comical. Yeah, I can if you're dating, if you're not, but if you're dating or even know people that's dating, it's hilarious. Like the things that you're going through when you're dating and the things that people say. Um, it is a
So it's
cliffhanger.
a
So
is it a rom com?
yeah, it's a rom com, but it's again, she's trying to find love, so it's a lot of different men because she's going on multiple dates in search of her forever, and her best friend wants to make sure she gets her forever. But it is a cliffhanger, so if you're not a cliffhanger type person and you want that
Hmm.
happily ever after at the very end of the book, it's not it. It's a good story. It's really it
Hmm.
has a lot of funny parts, but it is a cliffhanger. So
But
yeah,
is there going to be a part two?
yeah. I think part two comes out next month.
Okay, I
As
will.
long as it doesn't. I usually wait till everything is
Yeah, I
out,
didn't
but
wait till everything come out. Mhm.
because sometimes you have to wait,
Yeah.
years and then you
Years.
forget. But
Yeah, no, no, I think it comes out next month. Um, Next one, Private Agenda by Christina C. Jones. Um, Again, I love books that have these little parts that it's ripped from the pages of local or current events. And this one,
mhm.
um, they're extremely attracted to each other, but of course, they're into politics. They're politicians or local officials, and each one of them thinks the other person is bad. Um, and so, it's a enemies to lovers type story. Yeah, but the heat, they can't. Yeah, they can't stay away from each other. They have some scenes, and it's like, oh, really? So yeah, that one's it's pretty. They're pretty active to be enemies. But I like the fact that it also touches on our civic duty to pay attention to. And I'm sorry, that's just like either the bookstore lady in me or the nerd in me, always looking for that. Oh, there's a moral to the story here. And so in this one, it just really talks about our civic duty and what politicians, not all politicians are bad, not all of them are good, But there's just a lot of inner workings that's going on at the local government level. So you need to pay attention because next thing you know, your entire city will be handed over to somebody else, and you're none the wiser. Uh, American Queen by Vanessa Miller. This was my edutainment of the year. I do not like historical fiction.
Really? Okay.
I don't. But I find lately, Shavana, to your point, that I have been reading them because I have found that they've educated me on things that I didn't know. So this one, it really piqued my interest in terms of, okay, when the slaves were freed, where did they go? What did they do? How did they learn to survive? And so she walks you through when they built Happy Land, which is a real place, Happy Land, North Carolina, and how they had to rebuild a life and how they had to learn structure on their own and who was going to lead and who was going to follow, and having to deal with very strong-minded women that were like, okay, I get it, sir, but you're not necessarily always right. And so even the men having to figure out how to navigate with these strong women, as they learn as a group how to live outside of slavery.
Have anybody on the panel read this? Shavana, didn't you read this?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Oh, I thought you read this.
I read it.
I read it.
What y'all think? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, for me, it was because I am into quote unquote African American history. I learned a lot of things. So I read historical fiction is, I won't say it's at the top of my list, but I read it for the learning aspect. I found that every historical fiction that I have read,
Mm-hmm.
I've learned something that I didn't know. I've learned more about what I thought I knew, if that makes sense. You know, in other words, I knew about this, but I didn't know to the extent about this. So the historical fiction has helped, increases my awareness of what has and what ain't going on. I had heard of Happy Land, but I never realized that the women were that strong and were that powerful in running Happy Land until I read The American Queen. So to me, it was a learning experience. It was a good read, but it also gave me some education.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I named it my edutainment of the year because it educated me and entertained me at the same
Mhm.
time. Because there were some funny parts in there, and so there's just
Yeah.
it was a lot. I mean, it was a good read, but I did, to your point, I learned things that I was like, oh, but then it's like, oh, it makes sense. But there's also some parallels from then to how we see women empowered today.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give too much away. So you'll have to read it, but yeah, it does. Um, my next one is In Creed We Trust by Sherelle Green because, well,
I
he was
love
so
Sherelle.
broken from book one. I
Yes.
needed to, I needed him to be okay. So if anybody read this series, I needed Creed to be
Mm-hmm.
okay. I needed him
Yeah.
to
I
be
haven't
okay.
read this one. I read all the way up to I need to finish the series. I read up to what's the one right before this?
Duchess.
I didn't read that one. I think the last one I read was the one with the sister who's the doctor.
Riker.
Riker.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this one, yeah, this just put a broken person back together. But even in the midst of all the family secrets and, everything that he went through, um, yeah. So this one was the tidy bow that I was looking for. Um, the $1 Million Club by Marion Carter. New to me author. If you like a good murder mystery, this is good. It's a bunch of
Hmm.
very high powered men that's part of this secret club. But
Okay.
this guy has taken it upon himself to punish them. And his punishment, he only thinks death is good enough for them. And so he's punishing them for what they did. Obviously, you need to read the book because I'm not going to tell you. And but that's
Mhm.
but he also draws other people in to help him commit these crimes, whether they do it willingly or unwillingly. But the police and then Amara, she's a reporter. They want to stop him before he can kill everyone because they want to know why. And if he kills off everyone, they won't know what secret is being kept by the $1 Million Club. So
I like this
um,
cover too because it
That is
tells
true.
a story. I love covers like that. Beautiful cover. Okay, let me look and see if I have any more comments out here before we go any further. Let me see.
There's a couple on YouTube.
Um, JB is saying that she's still in a reading slump, so she's going to start her book of the month for a book club this week. I hope you that you get something really really good, JB, that gets you out of that slump. But hopefully you can find something also from out of the ones that we've been talking about. Hey, Midnight, Happy New Year. I hope you're still out here. Thank you for joining us. Midnight was on the panel last year. Uh, Antoinette, you said that book was Bond. What book was that? um, Myra said, excellent read. Let us know what book you're talking about, Myra, please.
She put that one up after the Vanessa Miller book.
It's Vanessa
Oh,
Miller
okay.
book. Yeah.
Okay.
The American Queen.
yeah, going back to
Um,
Vanessa Miller, if Mama Tony, I don't know, you saw the one that she has coming out in, is it March, April? The filling
Mm-hmm.
station.
State.
It's about Black Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
It's
it's about Black Wall Street. Yeah.
it's on my list for review. And like my first three reads this year are actually review books. So uh
You said it's coming out in March.
huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's March.
Looking
Yes,
forward.
March.
Yeah, it's March.
It's March. Hold on, I got my calendar right here.
I think it's the middle of the month. It's like the
It is the
14th
middle
or
of the month.
something.
Yeah, it's the middle of the month.
I was thinking,
It's March 20th. It's the first day. March 9th. Okay, Tom, turn to the right page on the calendar. It's March 18th, the third Tuesday
Okay.
in March. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
March 18th. Okay, thank you, Myra. She's saying you all were right. It was American Queen she was referring to. And no, that's still on my list. I read Vanessa Miller. I had her on the show and I read oh man, what's the name of that book?
the New York one.
Yeah, where I can't think of the name of it right now, but that one was excellent too. So I definitely plan on
Halsey Street.
yeah, yeah. The Light on
The
Halsey Street.
line on Halsey Street.
Yeah.
That was a
That
very
was
good.
that was an excellent book too, you all, if you haven't read that. But that's American Queen is on my list as well. Antoinette was talking about Monica Walters' book.
Look, we're gonna have to add Sherelle to Jennifer. This book 418 pages.
JB is saying the 25th. I don't know if that's what I don't know. Is that which one are you talking about, JB? Is that for Vanessa Miller's book?
She's talking about for Vanessa's book, and it may be. On one calendar, I got the 18th March, which is the third
Oh,
Tuesday.
Myra said
The
it's
other
the
calendar, I
15th. So
got the
you all are
25th.
all over the
Fourth Tuesday.
I know
So
she's having an event the 15th.
it's
The
one of those
15th,
Tuesdays.
right.
It's either the third or the fourth Tuesday in March. Because
Okay.
on
It's
my
on my
calendar, I got the 18th, the other one I got the 25th.
Yeah, I'll make sure to keep an eye out for
Yeah,
it
you can
around that
you can
time.
look at it on my website, and shameless plug here if I may. One of the things that one of the things that Vanessa Miller did with this particular book that's coming out, and it's not just
Mhm.
about me, she selected a handful of black owned bookstores. And so if you buy your copy of your book from those specific black owned bookstores, you get more than just a book. You get a daily
Oh,
devotion,
really?
you get affirmations, yes, but only if you buy it from the black owned bookstore. So you need to look at her. If you look on her Instagram page, she lists all of the black owned bookstores. I know mine is one of them. There's a few. I think it's 15 across the US. So if you
Mhm.
buy it from a black owned bookstore, one of those, you get the black woman's poem, you get a 7-day devotional, and you get your inspirational affirmations.
Oh, I love
Along
that. I
with the
love
book.
that. I love
Yeah, but
that.
that's only if you buy it from a black owned bookstore. So if you get it from the big box stores, yeah, those they don't come with it.
Amazon shows the release date of March 11th.
Oh, really? Okay.
See, that's why I got so many dates on my calendar. If I done changed it, I marked it out and changed it.
Yeah,
Oh
I just
man.
know it's on my website.
So
So my
yeah,
number,
we know it's at least we know it's in March anyway. So
yeah, it's
I'll
Mhm.
definitely
make sure to
March. Yep. My number 9 book is Panther by Iris Bowling.
That was on
I,
my list too, but I moved it since you all had.
mo- I mean, I waited for these young men to grow up to see what they would
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Even though
Yeah,
I still want the original, but we got them two in there, so
yeah. So that was number 9. Number
I still want
10.
my OGs in there, but we get those. We
Yeah,
get them.
but I mean, I was looking forward to seeing them grow up and what were they going to do and how they charted their own path, but it's a similar path, right?
Mhm.
And so
Right.
I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
So
And
for
so they're
those
just
who haven't
pushing
read this yet, what is it about? Do you remember?
forward. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I remember because he wants to go get his woman. He has to go get Jaja, however you pronounce her name. And so then there's some people being captured. You gotta, yeah. But I don't want to give
For
away the
those who are new,
yeah,
new to the series, this is the next generation from, and it's a spinoff
from
from basically the Heart series.
part series. Yep.
Um, so this is the next generation from the Heart series by Iris Bowling, and this is the first book in the next generation. So if you haven't read the series yet, I'd suggest reading the Heart series first, and then picking this up so you're not, so you get the full story. You also may want to check out Gems and Gents because they cross over the characters. Just an FYI for those who may be new to the series. Would you agree, Erica?
Yeah. Um, Myra put in the chat. Sherelle, she wants to know your bookstore name.
I don't know if it's you can see behind me. It's the Book Readers
Yeah.
Venue. Yeah,
The book
so
readers venue, Myra.
Book Readers Venue.
I'll put it in the chat.
Number 10 is Code Name Sukuyant. It's by Norian Love. It's a suspense.
I like this cover.
People
Oh,
get blowed up. Like she's, I mean, because the code name in Sukuyant it's for a female FBI assassin or CIA. I don't know. I think she's CIA. So the main character is a female, and of course, the subterfuge, pretending that I like you so I can kill you. Things, things that go poof in the night. People disappear. Are they dead? Are they
Right.
are they really dead? So yeah. So if you like a really good suspense and you don't mind things, like I say, a couple of dead bodies laying around left and right because you got to get away. And like I said, the main character is a female. So she was a soldier and now she works for the CIA.
Yeah, I have it. When I saw it on your list, I looked it up and I have it listed as one of the ones for me to read because I
And then
love
my
stuff like that, assassins and
yeah,
stuff.
and it's not too long. It's not that long of a book. Um, I didn't think so, but it kept me engaged. So I don't really know how many pages it was.
It's
Um, yeah, it, it,
149.
it was. It wasn't a long read.
So can I
And
ask you before
yeah,
you go on? So this is book 6 of 7. Have you read all of them, or you just read
I
this one?
have. I
Okay.
have. This one is book 6, but you only none of the other characters. Like if you read book 5, it's when she's first introduced, but it has really nothing to do with this book. It is very disconnected in a way. So if you read it, you'll know where to go to with the next book because she got a vendetta against some people in the other one. But you don't have to read them because for a while I didn't even realize it was part of the series until I went back and read the other ones, and I was like, oh, well, that's where she came from. But it really doesn't have an impact, so you don't have to read them all.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to
Um,
know. Okay.
yeah, you don't have to read them all. They're very different stories. Um, my honorable mention is Cade by AC Author.
Mm.
So I never met a Donovan I didn't like. So like,
I have to get back into them. I read them when she first came out with the series, and then I read like a few that came out here and there. So I have to get back on track with the series. But I love that family.
and then my last one was Murder of a Boss. It was written by a young man here in Houston. Um, he had been to prison, he got out, didn't want to go back. Um, and then his mother died. And he was like, if he didn't find something constructive to do, he felt like um, he was going to end back up in prison. So that's Murder of a Boss. And it really is pure urban fiction. Like it is urban fiction. And when I say out of my comfort zone, it was so far out of my comfort zone. But once I got past like the first four chapters or so, I think, trying to get used to the character names or whatever, that's
Hmm.
not the right cover.
It's not.
No, that's not the right cover. Well, I don't, yeah, that's not the right
Is the
cover.
one
But
with money on it with the guy sitting in the red shirt?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah, is
I don't
that
know
one.
how I ended up getting that
So
one,
if
and I'm glad
you're
you noticed that.
really, I mean, so if you're really into urban fiction and you like the shoot 'em up, bang bang, but the thing about it is his characters, they were still all about family. And the one thing you
Mm.
don't is destroy a family. And the hardest character in there is Checkmate. She's a female and she's very nurturing until. And
Mm.
so, and then when that until happens, Checkmate ensures you leave in a body bag. She does not play about her family. She just yeah. So those are that's my 10-12. Yeah,
And it looks like book 2 of that is about checkmate. Okay.
it's a
And I want to go.
continuation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to K because I pulled it up late after you talked about it, but I love this cover.
Hmm.
Um, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Now,
I'm gonna have
Sherelle
to
wrote
check this
the
out
last
too.
you just mentioned.
I'm sorry.
What you say?
The last one you just mentioned. Who wrote it?
Murder of
Casino
a
Diamond.
Boss, Casino
Uh huh.
Diamonds.
It was
Yeah,
Casino.
I
Okay.
can tell you that like again, the book was written while in prison, so it was an actual inmate friend of his that actually did the editing. So there's a, yeah, that it was done in prison. I don't know what else to tell y'all. It's not perfect,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. But the flaws that are in the book in terms of some of the editing, it doesn't take away from the story. So yeah, it's worth reading. I don't know if I'll ever pick up another urban fiction book again because that was a bit much for me. But
Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Well, I have one on my list that you definitely need to check out because I don't read a lot of urban fiction either because I don't like a lot of the street stuff. But um, this one I highly recommend once I start talking about it. So if you want to dip just one more time into that genre, I highly recommend. Uh,
Anything is possible. The one thing I shouldn't say, I won't read another one. When you own a bookstore, you have no idea what you're going to read because somebody will walk in here and convince you to read the earth because they make readers are so passionate. They will
mhm.
convince you to read anything. Like, oh,
Right,
okay,
right.
I'll do it. So yeah, it could happen.
Yes, Ola, I agree. Panther was very good, but um, just about everything that she writes is I'm here for it. Alrighty, and who anybody wants to go next? And Erica, I do have your books out here now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go next if Mama Tony doesn't want to go.
Oh,
Okay.
go ahead, everybody. I'm good.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Erica. Let's see. On a couple of street teams, Believe team for Iris bowling. Just joined one for Casey Mills, and I do freelance book editing. So that's me.
Talk up a little more, Erica. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay.
No.
Okay. Is that better? Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't speak very loud. Okay. Um, but yeah, so that's me. So as I said, on a couple of street teams, and I do freelance book editing. So that is me. So that helps with my book count every year. So that's always fun. Um, all right, so let's go into my list. Some of mine were already mentioned, so I don't know. I may skip those and throw in the ones I forgot. But
No, you still should talk about them because that'll, like we were talking about, it'll let people know,
okay,
that how good it was that multiple people had it on their list.
we'll do. All right. So do you want me to go in order of what I sent you?
Uh, yeah, that's good.
Okay. So first one up then is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby.
And I've been hearing about this book, and I still haven't read it yet.
I love him. Like he writes small town crazy murder thriller mysteries like nobody's business.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
yeah, and
'Cause I
he's
have been hearing about it
me too.
for a while, so I'm gonna definitely put it on my list.
yeah,
Move it
and
up.
he grew up in Virginia, so like some of these places that he writes about are actually within like 45 minutes to an hour of where I live.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so that adds to the creepy and the craziness.
Right.
Yeah. So this one was had a serial killer in this small town. They ended up there was a tragedy at the high school, and in trying to solve that, they found out about the serial killer that had killed all these young children in the town and had buried them under this tree on somebody's property.
Mm.
So it just goes into the whole story of trying to find out, of course, who the killer is and the connection to the town, and it's a lot, but it was good.
Who is the main character? Is it the officer of the law?
It is. It's the sheriff in that town. His name is
Okay.
Pike, and he is a former FBI agent that
Mm.
comes back home after his father. I think his dad broke his hip or had surgery or something like that, and so he had we'll call it a scandal while he was in the FBI that ended his career, and then it ended up timing at the same time as his father's issue. So he went back home, and yeah, it was
Because
a
I
lot.
read police procedurals too, so that's why I asked that.
Got it. But
Hmm.
so it centers around Titus and this small town, and I don't know how many of y'all are from small towns, but you know it's hard to keep secrets. But they made it, and when they came out, it was a mess. So yeah, that was a good one. Let's see. My next one was A Charming Proposition by Maya. So I just started reading Maya this year, and I'm gonna have to borrow one of Jennifer's. Nicholas was Bay. It was just something about his whole personality and the way that he went about his courting of the woman in the relationship.
Hmm.
It was so good. I mean, not to ruin it, but the man took her on a date to Barnes and Nobles and basically told her to have fun. He gave her carte blanche. It was like, you do what you want to do. So I mean,
Okay. Oh,
it's
you
kind
know
of
that
hard.
would be definitely for us. Like, okay,
Exactly. So it's hard not to love a man like that. But
right.
this was actually book 3 in the series. So the first 2 books are his brothers, and they own um kind of like bakeries and coffee shops that also have THC infused items. So you got the THC infused and then the non, and they take a portion of their profits and actually send it to uh,
Okay.
black men in prison who have been in prison for drugs. And
Okay.
so they decided to, kind of take that, and they were like, well, if they can go to prison for that, then we can start our business and give back to them. So that's what they do.
I never read anything by her either. I think Jennifer, haven't you told me about her before? I think so. Um, so I'm gonna check this out. I got it on. I have it on my list. So should I start? I should start with book one. Then, huh? Did you read the other two?
I read all 3 of them. Nicholas was just my favorite out of the
Oh,
3,
okay. Okay.
but they were all pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. My next one was a nonfiction book. It was called "Allow Me to Retort: A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution."
Yeah, I
By
wanted to ask you about this one when I saw it on the
Yeah.
list.
So Ellie, well, one, I don't know if anybody else watches them, but Roland Martin has a
I've
YouTube
seen them on
channel.
rolling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I saw him on Rolling, and then Altanya Washington actually posted about his book on Instagram. So between him being on Rolling and then Altanya talking about it, it was pretty good. And
Okay.
so he just kind of gives you a breakdown of the Constitution, how it applies to current day things that should be changed within our government. So if you've seen Ellie on Rolling, you know his wit and just his
Right.
personality. Oh, it's all in that book. So
Okay.
it's him sprinkled into just giving you history and facts on government and constitutions. That was pretty good.
Love it. Love it.
Yep. Next up was Scion the Return by D. Camille.
And this was on my list too, but since you had it, I moved it to honorable mention, and and it was they put something else in this spot. But
Oh,
I love D Camille, so
yes, yes. Well, as I've been on D. Camille since she first came out, 10 years ago now. Um, so was sad when she decided to walk away, and then when she
yes.
came back out the blue with Scion, I was like, I am here for it. So this
Yes.
is
And anybody who hasn't, because she doesn't really do a lot of interviews, so please check out the interview that I did with her on the Book Buzz show. It was I actually rewatched it recently, and it was very, very good interview.
yes, love D Camille. So for anybody who has read it, she started off, of course, with the Black Diamonds, and
Hmm.
so this is actually kind of like the second generation because
This
this
is
is
like maybe
print.
the one, two, three, two generations removed from the Black Diamonds. Maybe is it
No,
two generations?
I don't know if you call it two generations, but maybe two groups because you had the Black Diamonds and then you had the uncut diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, three, and then you had the
Because Trey
older.
is,
It's
well, maybe
Trent's
not, because Trey is Trent's
son,
son, and Trent
right?
is the Black Diamond's brother's
Baby brother, right?
brother. So
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
yeah. But anywho, it's just part of that Black Diamond world. So if
right, that
you read
world.
it, you
Yeah, do yourself a favor if you never read D. Camille, check it out. I love that she's all about Black excellence, and that doesn't mean that everybody is perfect because they're not. But I love that she showcases the best in all of us. And she does that throughout all of her series.
and it's all about family. The one you're born,
Yes.
and the one you
Family and
create.
community.
Yeah. So love D Camille. So hopefully she comes back
And you
because
go get a lot of badass guys, some good looking guys, some guys with swag.
and the women, because don't
And the
forget
women are badass too.
they are not
Because
slouch.
Sage is no joke. We're actually none of them. Chloe.
Oh Lord, yes. Between oh, I love Black Diamonds, but we can talk about them all day. Talk about them all day.
But I agree with you. That definitely needs to be a top 10.
It does. I can't wait for the next one whenever she decides to release it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm actually reading Cyan the Pursuit now because I'm behind.
okay.
I just started reading the second one after the return.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
be ready because that one and the third one, like, the third one, I will tell you the way it ended will mess you up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, in a good way, but
In a good way.
because I'm begging for the fourth one now. I was like, what happened? She was doing one almost like every other month, and then just
And
never.
then she.
And she went back.
So now I'm glad that I'm a little behind. So by the time it come out, yeah, okay.
You should be good to go. Yeah. Let's see. Next one is Bits and Pieces. My Mother, My Brother, and Me by
And
Whoopi
I told you
Goldberg.
this is on my list too. Yeah.
This was
This is
really
on my
good.
list to read. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, this one was really good. So Whoopi is kind of a memoir, but then not. So she talks about it in the fact that she lost both her mother and her brother. And so she's the only one left. And she was just saying how before she had a brother to kind of, bounce memories and things off of. And now that he's gone, she's the last one that really remembers the things that happened with them growing up and just their relationship. So she did the book. So it was
Hmm.
really good just to get that insight into her growing up and you think about all the things that her mom went through. Her mom was actually institutionalized when they were young and
Oh, really? Okay.
for like 2 years and they had no idea where she was and then all of a sudden she just pops back up.
That had to be traumatic. Goodness.
Exactly. Yeah, they were young when that happened, and the mom got sent away. She was institutionalized at oh gosh, what is that New York hospital that they were always sending people to? It was like an asylum, essentially.
Hmm.
I can't think of the name of it, but the decision was made by her mother's father and estranged husband. So like she had basically no say, and they had signed her up for like electrolysis and ain't no telling what else she endured while she was gone.
That
So,
sounds like because I read a lot of historical, and
hmm
that sounds because we see that a lot because the women didn't have any rights, any
right,
say. So if their husband wanted to get rid of them or a brother, all they
right.
had to do was have them committed. Yeah.
Right. But it was really good when you just think about her just talking about them and, the way that they lived. And she was saying how they lived in the projects, but somehow her mom always managed to do incredible things for Christmas
Hmm.
and just the lessons that she taught her. And her relationship with her brother. Um, like she jokes about the time Marlon Brando showed up at her house and how her the reaction with her mother and her brother. And she's like, I'm looking at my mother going, who is this woman? Because she's like, she had this, you know, like aristocratic voice and she was talking. And she was like, who is this woman? And
Say for Marlon Brando,
right,
huh?
right. And her brother comes in and he's acting all super cool, like, you know, Brando's just in her house all the time.
Right, right.
And she's like, they do this handshake. And she's like, when did you have time to figure out this secret handshake with Brando? It was really good.
And it, like I said, it's been on my list. I'm definitely going to get it.
Yeah, you should check
I
it out.
love her anyway.
And she's got the audio version as well. So I listened to that one. So it made it even better just
Right.
listening to her reflections and things like that.
And it
You go
also
there,
gave
Phil?
you an insight. I read it too. It also gave you an insight into where she came from,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, knowing where she, and seeing where she is now, and how
Right.
she rose above all of the tragedy and everything.
Yeah.
Her mother being institutionalized, her having her first child at 16 years old. This, what
Mm-hmm.
is it? 3 or 4 marriages she's had, but
Mm,
yet and still, she is risen above all that. And bits and pieces let you know that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was a good read. I enjoyed it.
Mhm. Give you a lot of insight into like history, what
Mhm.
is Whoopi, you know,
right. What
talks
made her who she is.
her progression from Karen to Whoopi. So
Mm,
it's really good.
love
Definitely.
it. Love it.
All right, let's see. Next up
This
is My Choice Is You. That has already been mentioned.
right, right. So that's what making me say, okay, I got to get this because y'all both had it on your list.
Because
Plus, I love Mel Dot stuff anyway. So
it is good and Jasper was a fool. Like as she says, he was fool up. It was
I love this cover too. They put some good looking guys on these covers, man.
oh yeah. And this one's
uh,
audio and
Mm-hmm.
the way the female narrator captures the heroine's voice, just
Mm-hmm.
her mannerisms and stuff is really good.
Yep. Yep.
That one's
It
good.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Sorry,
I'll be
I
right,
had
I'll be right
to.
back. You can go on to the next one, Erica.
Okay, that's cool. I had to find my list. Okay, the next one up was also previously mentioned by Sherelle. That one was Assist by Alexandria House. Loved it. I actually just finished listening to it like yesterday. I love that one. And a surprise at the end on the family, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah, because I listened to it about a couple of months ago. Even though I read the book, I done got into audiobooks so
We know.
heavily.
We know.
well, you know, it's something about those audiobooks where it's like you can read it and put a voice to it, but sometimes the audio is just so much better when they put a voice to it and act it out. And especially like Shivani, you were saying when you was in the middle of Dollar General. So you're listening to the book and it's like, okay, I don't have to walk around with this book in my face,
Right.
but I can still go about it. I listen to them while I'm working, probably not,
Right.
but
Get a
yeah,
whole lot done.
you do.
Listen to. Yeah.
Love it. And it does definitely help pass the time. So
Mm-hmm.
can't be mad at that. What else is on my list? I also had Panther by Iris Boland. Um, gotta love that second generation. I love James Jr. So
Yes.
I can't wait to see where she goes. And I don't know about anybody else who's read it, but Jaja reminded me so much of Tracy from book one.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes. I was like, she should be Tracy's sister, or they ought to be cousins, or what they call those twins? The born on the same
Irish twins.
Irish twin. Yeah, yeah, Irish twins. Yes.
Definitely love Jaja. And oh gosh, I can't think of that child's name. Oh, Teddy, Joshua's daughter.
Mm.
Hmm.
Her appearance in that one. So yeah, that was definitely on my top for this year or last year. Um,
What book are you talking about?
that was Panther.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So next up is Kiss It Better by Siobhan Latrice.
I love that title.
Oh my gosh, I love that book. It was hard to choose which one to actually pick for this year because I've read that whole series last year.
Okay.
So she's up to book 7, I believe. So I think we're waiting on book 8. No, I think
Yeah, we getting
that's
access
book.
book, and did you see where she done posted the cover already
I
for it?
saw that.
So we getting it.
I got excited. I thought that was the release post, and she made it say like just the cover. Um, but yeah,
I know how that is.
the whole Crenshaw Kings series is amazing. I love it. Like you can, I guess you can say they're kind of urban fiction, but each one is lengthy. So if you read it, it's long. If you listen to it, I think the shortest one is like 10 hours, maybe. But
Okay.
you get caught up in it, and so that one that I highlighted was the second to last book that came out. That was Bashar. He is an attorney, and he has a daughter, and he ends up hiring this woman to be his child's nanny after him and his girlfriend split up. But if the whole series, that was is amazing. But if you go back to book 1, their mother Lasara was married to a minister and finds out that he is actually into men, and so she breaks up with him. And I see your face, Mama Tony. It's crazy the way it starts, but the series is good. So divorcing. She ends up divorcing the husband because she's like, I'm not dealing with this, and she's got 6 boys to raise. So she goes from kind of like this affluent, household and things like that, being a single mother to 6 teenage boys. And so she's struggling and working, and one of her sons has a heart condition, and she needs help with his medicines and treatments and whatnot. And the ex just totally drops the ball. So she ends up marrying her landlord because he had access to great doctors and whatnot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The only way that she could have access to them was either she had to be an employee or of course a family member. So it starts out as a marriage of convenience for him to get the treatments, the son to get the treatments, and then just kind of takes over from there. And so that's the first book, and then all the subsequent books are her sons once they're
Each
grown.
son. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one Antoinette is talking about. Which
That's
book?
My Choice Is You.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the Meldau book.
And
So
then Iselin is saying, but sometimes the voice does not match the character.
that
I'm
is
not
true.
sure.
That is true. So I had put down a few audiobooks. I was like, I can't do the narrator. They're
Hmm.
if when you strike gold, they're awesome.
Hmm. I had one, and I don't listen to a lot of Audible. I will do like the speech to text sometime, like if I'm just happen to be doing other stuff. But I prefer to read it. But I was talking to one of the authors that was on the show, and I just happened to have a credit, so I went ahead and got the Audible, and they did such an excellent job. So that one I actually was glad that I listened to it instead of reading it. Yeah, but I know it can make a break
Definitely.
if you like it or not.
Definitely. All right, let's see. Next up, I think was August, which was already previously mentioned.
Yeah, but I found the cover this time, so this is the first time we're gonna see the cover up here.
It is. But yeah, so as I said when it was previously mentioned, I discovered M. Monique last year and binged her whole catalog. I started off with Blue. Actually, I like borrowed it from Kindle Unlimited.
Oh, you started off before the other one with Gray.
Yeah, yeah. I started Blue. I forget. I think somebody recommended it, and it sat
Hmm.
for like 6 months. And I was like, I want to read this book, and then I just had to binge everything of hers. So,
Yes, because like I said, Blue was my, even though I love Gray too.
hmm
And then I was like so like engrossed in Blue's story, but then when Kingston came along, it just blew me away. And I was telling her when she was on the show that I needed another Kingston book. And that's when she was telling me that we're gonna get an August book. So I was glad because August she knocked it out the park.
She did. She did. But I have to admit though, August was good. Although my favorites are on the other side of the law as far as her books go. Was it the hitter has feelings too? And yeah, those.
You
So
know, I don't think I read
yeah.
them.
But she took those down and now like she's slowly re-releasing them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that particular series is back up, Erica. She put it
Is it
back up yesterday. Yesterday.
okay.
You know, I was scoping them out because I read them all, so I was scoping them
Oh
to
yeah.
Yeah,
see
you
when
the
she
one
put
who
them
got
back up
me.
there.
You the one who
Yeah, they
turned me on to M. Monique in the first place, Jennifer, when I first had her on, and I've been reading her ever since.
oh yeah. So get
Hmm.
and then my last one was And Then Life Was Beautiful by Asia Monique.
I
So
love this cover.
yeah, that one was I just actually finished that one in December. I think I was in Hoopla, just kind of looking through stuff and it popped up as a suggested read. So
Okay, yep.
yeah, so that one it was really cute. That was just a minimal drama, just beautiful love story. So it's interesting. The guy in the book, and I'm trying to remember his name now. Ah, funny enough, his name is August too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So he's a quadruplet. So it's him and his three sisters. So they're all born after months. So it's June, July, August, and September.
Oh, okay.
So August is the only boy, and then he's got the three sisters. And the beginning of the book, he gets this call and he's asked to come down to the hospital. Well, come to find out his ex was pregnant. And funny enough, that's one of the reasons they broke up was because he wanted children, she didn't.
Mm,
And so they broke up. She found out she was pregnant after they broke up and she dies in childbirth. So
mm.
he gets called to the hospital and is like, "This is your daughter." Well, funny enough, when he finds that out, the woman that he's been casually dating also finds out she's pregnant. So
Oh
now
wow.
he's got more that he's taking care of, and the woman that he was dating or messing around with is pregnant as well. So it's just funny
Be
how
careful
that's
what you asked for. He wanted
right.
a.
But it's a beautiful melding of them two realizing, they wanted to be together, and then their growth from just friends with benefits to being in this relationship and
Hmm.
taking care of this baby and her dealing with the loss of her mother, which also happens at the beginning of the book. So she's healing from that. He's trying to deal with now raising this newborn by himself that he had no idea was coming in their relationship. So it was really good. There was a minimal drama. There was one little spark that popped up later on, but it was just a beautiful story how they melded together and became kind of this insta family.
I
with
think
two
this is the. No, go
with
ahead.
two babies.
Huh?
With two babies.
Two babies, right?
I just want to make sure I heard you right because the
Yes, ma'am.
ex died giving childbirth, and then the other one that is still with is pregnant. Okay, that's two babies. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Two babies.
Uh, I
Well,
think this is the same author because I just started reading. Well, actually, I have read the first book a while back, and I just started. You know how Kindle will put up there, Amazon will put up there, continue the series to remind you that you have. So I started reading it again. I think that's the same author, but it's about what's the name of that series?
The flower series. Or
No,
Is it
family
her
of
Mafia series?
yeah, her mafia series. Yeah.
ah, the Mafia Misfits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I've
yeah.
been dipping back into that just because I had forgot about that I had read the first book. So when I saw the name, I'm like, I think that's the same author. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, she does. I
Mhm.
read that one too. Those were really good too.
I see y'all have a pattern going on. For 2025, I'm gonna be reading 400 pages a month.
Is that what this one is?
Yes.
And
And book two is shorter than book one. So
yeah, well, I
Yeah,
read
because I was gonna say book two is out now, and then there was Passion.
right.
That
mhm.
was good too. I read it.
It
Yeah,
was
that was like 260. So yeah.
So Erica, you can read the long ones there. You were talking about my love when I was on
Well,
the
to be honest, you said 700, 800.
Right.
Before, and I listened to it, so it didn't
Oh
seem like
yeah.
that
If
long.
it's on
Oh,
audio, yeah,
yeah,
that
that helps. That helps because you can do
yeah.
other stuff while you
Exactly.
listening.
Let me go and check my audio for it.
Right. And then my honorable mentions, the first one up was Black AF History by Michael Harriot.
I've been hearing about this one too.
Love that book. So he's kind of like Ellie in how he interweaves like family history and stories in it, and then goes into things that you had no idea about. Like, I think I had vaguely heard about this, but once one of the things that sticks out to me about this book, he talked about when the slaves essentially freed themselves in Haiti,
Oh
how
yeah. Hmm.
they had to pay back loss of monies to France.
Oh really?
Right, because basically, all the French plantation owners, they went into debt because they no longer had slaves, and
Right.
that was the way they made their money. So Haiti had to pay back reparations to the plantation owners, and then the the debt was actually sold from France to the U.S. So they were saying that one of the reasons why Haiti is such a poor country is because they had to pay back all these reparations
Mm,
and stuff back to the US, and that the monies they paid back to the US actually helped build Wall Street. Which
never heard that before.
exactly. So yeah, it's all kind of highlights in that book. So it's very good.
Yeah, I know I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it was really good. And then my other one was Convergence by Iris.
I
So
just bought it. I haven't started reading it yet.
yeah, so
Yes,
technically that
I'm
out
yes.
till New Year's, but I read it
Hmm.
and edited it last year, so that's why it was
Right, right.
on my list for honorable
I
mentions.
love Nate Raines. Yes.
Um, he's still. Ty is still my man though. Ty Pendleton, but I
Oh
love Nate Raines too.
yeah, so I loved it, and the way her worlds are coming together, because Nate Raines was kind of isolated, and then she started bringing in
Right,
things in the other
and that's
world.
what I love too. The crossover that we
Mm,
get some of the heart series and
yeah.
Gems and Gents in
So I'm gonna be good. I had more honorable mentions, but I said I was gonna be good and leave them at the two. So
there.
um,
You can talk about them towards the end.
uh,
What I gonna say? I done
I
lost my
see it,
train of thought.
Sherelle. Good night.
Good night, Sherelle. Be
Good
safe.
night.
Be
Yeah, be
safe.
safe.
Good
I
night.
know a
Thank
lot
you,
of a
ladies.
lot of states,
Like,
a lot of
I
states are
have like
getting hit.
I'm probably gonna go home and book shop because I need some new books on the shelves at the bookstore.
And
Thank
you
you,
got
ladies.
plenty to die to
You got a pluffer to look the shop from.
right.
Yeah.
It is like, yeah, like my head is just like, shh. So I can't wait to get home so I can start
Right.
on the distributors
yeah,
list. So
I can
thank you
relate.
so much. I appreciate it.
I got a
You're
list
welcome.
too.
Drive
I got two
safe.
pages so far. Yeah.
All
Be
right.
careful.
Good night. Mhm.
Good
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 night.
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 Yeah, I was like, we ain't got the
Yeah.
Mama Tony insurer yet, and I already got two pages.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to go, Mama Tony?
Okay, I'll go. I'm gonna run past them
Okay.
because Panther was one that was on my list, and we've already
Yeah.
talked about that. The last book I read last year was Tiffany Warren's The Unexpected Diva, which drops tomorrow.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
I have that.
Now, when I was like 20, 21 years old, I took a music appreciation course because I needed some credits. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And they mentioned this lady in the course, but at 21 years old, was I paying attention? No, I just need those 3-hour credits. So I really didn't focus on what they were trying to tell us about her. It was just a matter of getting in the class, taking the class, passing the test, and getting out. But
Right.
in reading this book, I've always known that as women, we were a strong lot. But in reading The Unexpected Diva, you find out just what kind of stock we come from and how strong we are as women, as a people, because no matter what deterrent was put in front of her, she managed to get over, even to the fact of giving up love, because she was adamant about the fact that she was not going to get pregnant. She was not going to get married until she met her goal, which was to sing on that stage.
Okay.
You know, and then in addition to all of that, trying to remain free, even though she was a free Black woman, she had her papers. There was still the slave catchers coming. To the point at one point she had finished. The slave catchers broke into where the concert was being because they were looking for people that had escaped. And when the guy heard her sing, he said, "Who she belonged to? My master pay a lot for that nigger to come sing for him."
I
And
know it's a beautiful cover too.
she immediately grabbed her papers because she wanted to let him know, "You can't take me. I'm a free woman. I got my papers." It was a really good read. So if you haven't one clicked and you haven't already read it, when it drops tomorrow, it's well worth the read. It really is. It's worth the read.
I got to start by it, so I'm gonna make sure.
And that was my last read for 2024. Another book that I enjoyed last year was No Reservations by Cheryl Lipstick.
And that was on my list too, but I moved it once I saw you had it because I love it too.
Yeah, no reservation myself. The camaraderie between and a lot of my books I found were dealing with us as females, and the camaraderie between them and how they got along, how we got along with each other, and how when you look at us today, we still doing that. We're there for each other. Yeah, you know they say teeth and tongue fall out, but when it comes down to the hard knocks, we know that we can call one another, and you got that support, and that's what this story was saying to me. You know,
it was so beautifully done.
Yes, very, very well written.
Yes, and also if you haven't looked at I talked to her about this book. So if you haven't looked at that, watched that, please take a look. This was a beautiful, beautiful story of friendship, and I think we talked about that on there too. About sometimes women are portrayed as like we can't get along, or it's always, so it's good when we showcase the strong sisterhoods.
Yeah, and that goes to my next book, The Bookshop Sisterhood by Michelle Lindo Rice. You got these 4 women, all in different stages of life. You got one that's not married, one that's a widow whose husband has just died and left her with a child, one that's as flirty as all get up and get outdoors, and the other one who thinks she has the perfect marriage, but hell, it's worse than she didn't worse shape than anybody. She's in worse shape than but even when they fall out with each other, they're there for each other. The child is, and then with each drama that comes into each one of their lives, no matter what, I'm mad with you, Cheryl. I really don't like you. I ain't spoke to you in 3 days, but you call me and tell me that something has happened to your child. I forget all about the fact that I'm mad with you. I'm there for you. And this book, the Bookshop, that's what those ladies were for each other. Even to the point where at one point they had decided we don't want to see each other anymore. We won't have anything else to do with each other. And one did something that brought all of them back together, and they ended up in the end in the same place they were in the beginning, together, being that sisterhood and being there for each other.
Okay.
And
because I read some of the reviews, and they were saying that what one reviewer was saying, just like what you just said, that at first she didn't think of them as a sisterhood because they were always fighting or something she was saying, but
they were like siblings.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I'm number 2 or 6. There was never any peace in our house. You know, we were always, we were always fighting. But when it boiled down to brass tacks, you couldn't come into the Smith household and bother one of the 6.
Right.
And that's the way these ladies were. Yes, they had their ins and outs and their different, but when it came down to it, They were there for
They were
each
there
other.
for each other.
I mean, as for staying in the hospital all night, following the trifling husband, going to court with her when she got they were always there for each other. And they came out of court fussing. But when they
Mhm.
were in that court, they had a united front with each other.
Right, right.
There
And
was,
you explained it good because that's what it reminded me of, two siblings where you're gonna fight sometime, but ain't nobody else gonna come around and and when you need them, they're there. Myra's saying that she has the book by Cheryl Lister. If you haven't read it yet, Myra, you will love it. It's so well written, very well done. And then she's saying that the book by Michelle Lindor Rice is great too.
yes,
Yeah,
it's
it was a good book.
yeah. And my next book is, and none of these books fall in order. They, like I said, I tossed them and turned them and like, okay, oh well.
Right.
My next one was Keeping Receipts by W. Mason Dunn.
Mm,
When you, how can I explain this without giving this one away?
Oh, that was the one I wanted that I couldn't get. It was good, Mama Tony.
Yes, yes, it was good. Keeping Receipts is very good. Uh, you know, we women have checklists. You know what I'm saying? He has to have a job.
right.
He has to have this. He has to have that. He has to do this. He has to do that. So, and that's the receipt that you're keeping.
Oh, okay.
So you're keeping these receipts on people, but then something happens and one of the boxes gets erased. Where do you find forgiveness? How do you find it? But when a script is flipped and you're not checking all the boxes, you want them to understand why you're not doing it, you know?
Okay.
And so it comes down to, why are we keeping receipts?
Mm,
Okay.
We don't have to outbest each other. If we do this together,
right.
there's no need for keeping receipts.
I agree.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one. And let's see what else.
And I never heard of that author before, so I'm gonna check her out because I'm always looking for a new
Oh.
author.
Yeah,
She was
W.
new to
Mason
us. Right, Mama Tony. Was she new to you?
She was new to me, not in 23. When
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I, yeah,
but
now
she
I
was
first
new.
read her in 20. She was new to me in 23. She wasn't. Now my two new authors this year, believe it or not, were Casey Mills. When I was introduced to Innocent Intent,
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
I lost my mind. Okay,
Yeah. That was
I just
good.
flat out lost my mind when I was introduced to Innocent Intent. And I have to thank Lashir for that, for calling me and asking me if I want to be a part of this team, if I want to read this book, if I wanted to review it. And I'm like, do I need another book to review? Do I need to
Right.
be on another team? How much more time do I have in 24 hours? But very rarely do we say no. So I
Right.
said yes. I am so glad
Me too.
I said
That was
yes.
a good book.
Yeah,
This
she was on the show
Innocent Intent
too for that.
was a damn good book from beginning to end.
Hmm
My only regret about Innocent Intent, this is one of those books that I like to have. I like to have it on my Kindle, but I'd also like to have an actual
Right.
physical copy.
hmm
And I don't have a physical copy. I just have it on my Kindle.
Yeah,
Now,
if I love the book, I do that too.
yeah,
I'll
you
get
know,
a print
like
copy
all of
too.
these that I talked about, they're on my Kindle, but I got that physical copy, and I thus I have no room to put anything else. Mhm. And my other new author to me this year, and I read her book, Friendship Matters by Rona Drinkard.
Oh yes. Hmm
Now, not only did I get to read the book, I had the opportunity to actually meet Rona. And again, we back to friendship. We back to
hmm
these three ladies. Like I said, that was my theme this year.
Right.
You know, we all had our little niche hole, and that was mine. We're back to these three ladies and this friendship and them being together with each other. And then the sequel to this book comes out next month, I think.
Next month.
Yeah. And
Next
I read this one too, and it was very good.
Yeah, I love Friendship Matters. Like I said, most of my books this year were centered around us. And when I say us,
Mhm.
I mean women and the relationships that we had with each other.
Right.
It wasn't so much about yes, there was some romance in there, and everybody ended up being heavy, but it was more about the connection between us as females to each other and getting along with each other.
Which is so important to show.
Yes, which is so important. And then Guardian Defender by Jackie Thomas.
Did I read this one? I can't remember.
No, we read the one after. Remember,
Okay.
you need to go
Okay.
back and read that one.
Um,
The first one.
for someone who's been reading Jackie since day one, since she wrote her first book before it was ever even published, and to see her growth as an author from point A to point Z,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's astounding. It's amazing, and to see how she can go from one genre to the other and still keep you there. Like when Jackie first started writing, she was writing strictly romance, and there was some hot scenes. There were some hot scenes in those first
Oh,
books.
for real? I don't.
Yes,
Okay, I didn't read the earlier versions.
Oh,
Then I guess.
girlfriend,
her Arabesque books,
girl, her
the,
Arabesque
the
books,
ransom
yes,
thing.
sir. Let me
Yeah.
tell you. And when I tell you some hot scenes,
Yes, I'm looking at my bookshelf too, because there's one with chocolate kiss or something with the guy on it.
Yes.
yes, mhm.
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah,
Yep.
you check out her early catalog, okay? But it was,
Yes.
and then she pivoted and went into the Christian
More
fiction
fan.
genre,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
more associated, with Jasmine and those. But even at that, the writing was good. So she didn't lose you as a reader because she had switched
Right.
genres.
Right.
And
Right.
then she came back, eased into the romance, but clean romance. But
Mm.
wrote it to the point where she kept you there. She didn't have those scenes from like those first books. They went upstairs and closed the door. Well, you use your imagination. But in the first book, she told you about they went upstairs, they closed the door, they pulled out the clothes, and they threw each other on the bed. You got the whole story, And now she's come back around to writing these mysteries and these dramas and these cold cases,
Yes.
these cold case books where murder and I'm like, where, how? But from day one to currently, she has even to King David, which is on my in my two.
Right. I started reading it. I haven't finished it yet.
I haven't
David.
started yet. But from day one to King David, she has not lost me as a reader. You know how some authors will, when they switch genres,
Right.
you kind of and
You
their
fall
writing
off.
isn't as, I won't say it isn't as good, but it doesn't hold you as much. It
Right.
doesn't grab you. But Jackie has grabbed me from beginning to end.
Yeah, her
And
books are very good. I think the first one that I stopped when I started reading was her small town. What was that small town? With the firemen and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Twins for the Holidays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one and the other one, yeah. Mm-hmm. A small town romance series. So she's there, and she's just a good author.
I agree.
Now I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm gonna throw myself on the mercy of the courts. There was
before you do that, Mama, I forgot to put this up. Here's to cover you all for innocent intent for those who.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a good book.
It was.
All right, and what's your next one?
Okay. We all know Vanessa Riley.
Yeah.
Now, when I first met her, and she was writing the Regency romances, and I said to her, quote unquote, I don't read this mess. I'm not reading this mess. I'm not. But she sold herself. She said to me, I'm going to give you this book, and you're going to read it and let me know. I brought that book home, and I know for 2.5 years, it sat on my shelf. I didn't read. And then I reached that, you know how you reach that point where you're looking for something new?
Right.
And there it was.
You say, let me try this one.
Let excuse me, let me try this right here. And that's when I picked up that first reading book she gave me. And since then, I have enjoyed her series, the Lady Word series. Murder in Berkeley Square has humor.
I love this cover.
It has the murder. It has the crazy lady. It got the dog. You name it, it's in Murder in Berkeley Square. So
I can see the growth in her writing too, because I'm from when I first started reading her.
yeah. And so I just love this. And then I like the fact that in addition to it being a good story, we learn more again about us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
We learn more about us as people, and the things that we went through, and the things that we had to do, the things that we had to try to hide from, or keep people from knowing, so that we could have a life.
Right.
And it's all in these books, and that's it. My two honorable mentions were Secret to a Southern Wedding by Cynthia Williams.
Yes, that was good.
That entire series is a good series. And then my other honorable mention was the rom-com Fake It Till You Make It by Sierra London.
And this is on my list too.
And I am not an animal lover, but
really? Oh my goodness, I love the stories of dogs.
I am by no means an animal lover. Let me tell you, when I was working, they knew that they played in my grade level playing the trip to the zoo. There was gonna be a sub that day because I wasn't going to work. I wasn't going to the zoo. I am not an animal lover, but this dog and those animals really got to me. And I like the fact that the hero Sharon, she wasn't afraid of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, come on, who walks into a place
she was something else.
half dressed? Now, and when I say half dressed, you're not dressed for a job to go for a job interview. You look like you're going to the beach or somewhere. You know, when you go to a job interview, half dressed, you know nothing about what the person wants or needs, and you sell yourself and get a job. And then, in addition to getting a job, you flip his business around.
Right
now, he making more money than he wants, and people are paying him. And he was
because it was more to her than what he thought initially. Yeah.
She's saying they don't have the money, then we're gonna do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, these people are paying him.
Right.
And the funniest scene to me was when he took her to the farmer's house when it was time for the calf to be born, and he thought she was gonna faint. She said to him, "I worked in the hospital. I seen more shit than you seen." Girlfriend pushed up her sleeve and got down in that muck and went at it. You know,
right.
There he was in total awe. Oh my goodness! So that's.
I agree with you, and this made my list too. But since you had it, I ended up doing a slash because I had another one too. But I told Sierra too because she came on the show to talk about this book. The best thing I could say, the book made me smile from beginning to end.
From that women. The other funny scene, Prince. Now, if you haven't read it, you got to find out who Prince is. I'm just gonna tell you, there is a Prince in this book, but you got to read it to find out who Prince is.
Oh man!
The confusion that Prince causes. Excuse me. The confusion that Prince causes is hilarious.
Yes, I'm reading these comments. Somebody is commenting on your. Let's see. JB, which book are you talking about that Mama Tony was talking about? And then Myra is saying someone is her next read. Which one are you talking about, Myra? And then Myra was saying that she was at, you talking about Jacqueline? She was at CBLR, yeah.
The Dunn woman was at CBLR too. That might be who she's talking about.
W. Willa Dunn was also at CBLR.
Oh, really? Okay.
We talking about her.
And then she's saying she also co-authored "Women of the Waiting Room" along with you.
Rona.
Okay.
Who?
Rona D.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Like I said, my first introduction to her was Friendship Matters. I tell you, And
And
then meeting her after reading that book was just it was icing on the cake.
yeah, I look. That's one of my favorite things to read about is sisterhoods and brotherhood. So that was right on time. JB, you talking about Rona when you, or you, as far as she's a beautiful lady, and
Don't you say
Yes,
that?
after that it was funny. If you need a good laugh, fake it till you make it is the book to read.
it is so good, so good. And I don't read a lot of rom coms because, but that one that just had me from the beginning to the end of the book. Um, and they're talking about when y'all were talking about Arabesque. Antoinette said Arabic books, Harlequins by Jacqueline Thomas were off the off the hook.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
They were. But
I'm
she
never glad to check out her earlier catalog.
because she wrote the Ransom series. Oh gosh. Yeah, because that
Yeah.
first one got turned into the BET movies we won't talk
Do
about.
we won't talk about it. Then this
But
shall
the book
not be
was good.
mentioned.
Right. But they were something else.
JB, which one are you talking about that I said was an excellent storyteller? I already talked about so many people.
But I think for those of us who are avid readers like we are,
Mm-hmm.
we could sit here for the next 3 hours
Sure
and
could.
talk about books that we've read, and learn. Because I mean, you talk about page lists. I'm like some of the people that Jennifer's. I'm like, I ain't never heard of some of them folks. Where'd you get these folks from?
Yeah.
Is she making up names? You know what?
So yeah, she can introducing us to some new. Some of them she already had told me about, but some of them were new to me too that she talked about today.
A lot of them, some of the ones that Eric, and some I've heard about, and I'm just like, I can't add anybody else to my list.
Right.
But then when you have a discussion like this, and somebody talks about that book,
Mm-hmm.
that author, then what are you doing?
Right.
Down, you one clicking and you buying it.
Yeah, and you
Because
moving it up on your list and all of that.
Right. Those are the kind of the readers we are.
Just like y'all say,
you're right. It was very funny.
Just like y'all sat here and talk about our Iris. I own every one of Iris's books.
I already told you about yourself. I
But
said,
I've never
how
read
have
the
you
Heart
not read the
series.
Heart series, Siobhan?
I've never read the Jim.
That's still one of my top series. I told Iris that's still my favorite of hers. But
I own every one of Vanessa Riley's books. I've never read any of them.
Not a one.
Not a
Well, you told me you was gonna read the Heart series, though.
I am.
Did you say the Heart series? No, you said you told me which one should you read, either the Heart series or it was another one. What was it?
I've read
which
the
one
Gems
should I
and
read?
Gems, so I've
It might
read
have
the
been,
Private Stock. I've read Nate Rain, so I'm gonna read the Heart series.
Oh, okay. JB was talking about Vanessa.
With no new messages.
And Myra was talking about keeping receipts when she was talking about
the
book that you were talking about. And then
Antoinette, are you talking about Grounds for Romance?
And then Mel Walker's new book was hilarious.
Grounds for Romance, this one?
Read that one.
What's the name of it, Antoinette? Because I love Mel Walker's stuff. I didn't know he had a new one out.
Yeah. This is
that's the one about
that's it right there. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got that one too. We saw him at Wow.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. JB said first up should be the Dunning. No, JB, first up is the Heart series where it started.
Oh no, I read the Dunnings.
Oh, well, see.
Oh, you read the Dunnings. So you have read some of Iris then, yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't read the Heart series or the Jim and Gents. I've read the Dunnings. I read Nate Rains. I read.
Okay,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I like you. I own everything that I was, and I've read everything except Conversion. Because guys, I started the year off in the bed with the flu, taking antibiotics. That's the reason I'm drinking hot tea with lemon water and hot tea instead of my.
right.
Okay. Because I had the first 2 or 3 days, I really didn't feel like reading because I was really not feeling. So that's why I haven't read Conversion yet. But
yeah,
that's the only thing that Iris has that I have not read yet. I have it. It's on my Kindle, but
Yeah, mine
because of
too.
the first 3 or 4 days of the year being sick, I haven't. I'm kind of behind on my reading. But wait a minute, Jennifer, how many books have you read this year already? This is
It's only been a few days. Well, no, it's been a week.
Do, do you really want to know, Mama Tony? Are
yes, I really want to know.
you still gonna love me after I tell you?
Tell me this.
I've read
uh,
10. I've read 10 already.
Okay.
okay,
Oh, I
okay.
ain't too far behind. I read 4.
And I don't even know how many I read so far. I would have to go back to I started reading Science, the Pursuit. I haven't finished it yet. And what I read two. My another one of my sweet spots is historical mysteries. And two came out that I read the series from. So I whatever I was reading, I put down and I started reading those. So I finished both of those in 2 days.
Thank you, Antoinette. I will. I do. I feel better today than I felt in a couple of weeks. So
Good.
thank
Yes, JB, I agree. All of her books are number ones. You're right.
I,
Okay, so I'm going. Was that your
yes,
last
that
one?
was my last one. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to get into mine, and let me go back to the covers.
I want to be nosy. Mama Tony, what's in that pretty bottle?
Mm.
I don't drink. I'm just curious.
Uh, this is Blackberry Whiskey Sour by Crown Royal.
Oh, for
Oh,
real? Okay. And I can't drink it. I be like this. I can only sip like I'm doing right now, sipping this little frozen.
And when you sent the invitation, I'm like, I'm gonna try my Crown. Then I'm thinking, I'm try my Onyx. I can't do so. It's just sitting here looking pretty.
it's very pretty.
Oh man. All right. So my first one, and they're not in any like kind of order or anything. So but my first one on my list is drum roll.
Not drum roll.
Oh man. Okay, where is my? I just put them on here.
Look at that. Drum roll and no roll.
Where is the doggone?
What happened?
Yeah.
Big reveal.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna have to put it back on here because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, so my first one is it might come up right since it's less of us on here. Riffs and Refrains by Ty.
Yes.
Yeah, it came out first on
Yes.
Audible. At the time, I had got rid of my Audible for a while, so I couldn't listen to it. So when it came out on ebook, I was so excited, and because I loved her Chicago Blues, and she was on the show for that, so I wanted to read this, and I loved the cover. So I finally got to read it, and it's about it follows the main character who is Amara, who is a middle school teacher, music teacher, and she's always loved music. But her father never really supported or encouraged her love of music, and she finds out that it's because of her grandfather, her father's father, who was a musician, and I guess he left the family. So her father always blamed the music for his leaving the family or them leaving him. So he never encouraged it with his daughter. So the grandfather ends up passing away, and they've been estranged. So she's only met her grandfather maybe once or twice when she was little, but she's always had a fascination. So she ends up singing at his funeral, and while she's singing, a young man who's in the music industry hears her because he was friends with the grandfather. And so he talks her into giving him a summer in Nashville to see where her music can take her. She's also engaged, and her husband, of course, doesn't like the idea of her leaving for a summer to follow her music passion. So her father, her mother, and her fiance are against it, but she steps out on faith and she follows her heart. And then she also makes a deal with Jake, who is the guy, that she'll do this if he helps her find out more about her grandfather. So the story takes off with her going on this trek to find out more about her musician grandfather, and also her following her passion and seeing where it takes her. And she goes into country music, and so we get like a glimpse into the world of country music and what it's like for a Black artist trying to break into that genre. And when I say Ty did such a great job on this book, I was so caught up that I think I read it in one day because I was listening and reading. Um, she did a beautiful, beautiful job. And the romance was there, but it wasn't front and center. It was actually the music and the family dynamics that had me basically in the chokehold. So I highly recommend this book to anyone who's interested.
I highly recommend anything by Ty.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Oh
Love
shoot,
her.
I forgot I did this. But yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent read.
That
And they
was
got 5 stars from me, and I don't give out 5 stars willy nilly. So.
She said willy nilly.
All right, and then my next one. Okay, y'all not gonna be surprised at this because I've been talking about it. I don't know how long on the show, and I've been telling all of y'all you have to read the Delgado Family series by Jaquel J. And this is my first time reading this author, and oh man, this series had me so caught up that I read it like I think I told y'all I read it in like 3 or 4 days, the entire series. And I've been telling anybody who would listen that you have to get this series. Here is book 1. Where is it? Book 1 is Capone. And she does her books in seasons, so like a TV series. So the first season is Capone's story, and it's 3 books. It's a trilogy. The backstory on the series is Capone and his twin Capadonna, and then their baby sister Capri. So Capadonna is in prison for 15 years, and he took a bid for Capone. So Capone has some feelings about, he has guilt around that. Capadonna was the one that was mainly the leader, and Capone had, was his backup. But when Capadonna went away, Capone stepped into that role and kept the family going, and also kept their street business and their legit business going. But the series gives me a lot of what I love in stories. It gives you family, strong family bonds. It gives you a ride or die couple. It gives you strong friendships. You get lots of action and well-developed characters. The females in the series are strong and fierce, just like the men. And the males are alpha males who love their women and to do anything for them. And I cannot say enough about this series. It is just excellent, excellent, excellent. Jennifer, when you agree? I know you've read.
I definitely agree. I still have to read Capri's to um the second book on to 3.5, but yeah, she's a good author, and yes, they had me all engaged.
Yes, and even if you don't really read urban, because you still will love this series. And Myra, I was telling you on the show, even if you don't read a lot of urban, you will love this series just because of all the other things that I talked about: the strong family, um, the strong friendships, the strong couple. You get all of that in this series, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And also, she's going to be on the show February 17th, so I hope you all tune in. Let's see. I'm trying to look and see with the comments. How many books in the series? It's hard to say how many books. Okay, so Capone's books were 3, but then with Capadonna's books, it went into like a 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 thing. I think his were more like 5 books, but they're not extra, extra long. And then Capri's, I believe, is also because they're like 2.5 and 3.5. So I think it's 5 of hers as well. So it's 5, 10, and then Capone's is 3, 4 books. But she's also, it's an ongoing series. So she said this month the next book is going to be coming out, which is going to be Capadonna's best friend, who is the head of a motorcycle club. Ola, she, when I was talking about it, I was gushing over it so much. She went and got the series, and so she's co-signing what I'm saying. That yes. And when you talk about Jennifer, when you was talking about Book Bay, Capone, oh, man, she wrote that man. I'm telling you. So if y'all like strong male characters, you'll get that in Capone and Capadonna. But Capone really, she wrote him in a way that I love. Oh, JB is saying thanks, Erica. You told her how many books.
Yes, I know they have at least 3, but in the
Yes, at least 3.
or,
And like I said, it breaks into like 2.5, 3.5 when it gets to Capadonna and Capri. So it ends up being maybe like 5 books, but they're part, they're not extra long.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you'll love it, love it, love it. And then my next one, I'm just gonna touch on because Mama Tony already talked about it, and that's Fake It Till You Make It. If you like rom-coms and animals in your books, adorable animals, and just a really feel-good story, you will love this story by Sierra London. For those who are listening later, again, that's Fake It Till You Make It, Sierra London. And because Mama Tony had it on her list already and she talked about it, I ended up adding another one that was just as good to me, that was in the same vein, and that is Pardon My Frenchie by Farrah Roshan. And when I say that Fake It Till You Make It had me smiling, Pardon My Frenchie in the beginning of the book had me laughing out loud because of this adorable French bulldog that's in the story. And it had me laughing out loud. It Fake It Till You Make It. I mean, Pardon My Frenchie is basically, it follows Ashanti, who owns a doggy daycare called Barkingham Palace, and she's also raising her teen twin sisters, and has a French bulldog named Duchess, and Duchess is poodle best friend Puddin. Comes to her daycare, and their antics ends up blowing up on social media, and so it brings a lot of business to her doggy daycare. And it's a grumpy sunshine, just like Fake It Till You Make It. So the grump in the thing is Thad, and he's not a dog person, but his grandmother ends up having to move into an old folks home. And so he has to take on her dog, and the dog is the one Puddin' out said that goes to the doggy daycare. So you can imagine that's where the friction comes in between the two main characters. But it was a very, very, very good, fun, lighthearted book. And my next one is The Girl with Stars in Her Eyes. I think you were on this one with me, Jennifer, with Zio Axelrod. And this book focuses on the main character, Tony B, a Black female guitar player, coming into her own as a musician and reconnecting with a guy from her past named Seb, who's a white guy who is also in the music industry. And Tony has some abandonment issues from her childhood. Her mother also was a musician and a guitarist, and she put her career ahead of her daughter, basically. And then she suddenly ships her off to live with her father. So just imagine, Tony is a young girl. Her mother gives her guitar as a parting gift, basically, and puts her on the bus, a Greyhound, to visit a father, to live with a father that she never even knew. So you get her backstory as far as how it was when she got off the bus. And then she meets Seb, who lives across the street from the bar that her father owns. And he teaches her how to play the guitar that her mother gave her. and they make plans to always be in each other's lives, and then Seb ends up leaving her abruptly, and then years later she ends up in a girl band, and then in walks Seb as their manager. So that's where the story takes off. But it was so well done, and you get Zio also is in the music industry as well as being an author. So you get, it's like you really are getting the aspects of what it's like to be in a band. So I really enjoyed the story. My next one is, without telling you all, I love historical mysteries. This is one of my favorites, by Irina Shapiro, and this one is this is part of the series. I believe this one is book 6, called The Gilded Lily. And just to give you some background on the series, it focuses on a historical author named Nicole Rayburn and her husband Kyle, who is also a contemporary author. But the series is mainly more so on Nicole and her research on historical figures that she incorporates into her stories. And then the stories are, it needs, this is what I was telling you about the parallel storylines. The modern storyline is about Nicole and her writing and researching the book. And all of her books, even though they're fiction, they're all based on actual real life people who have some kind of mystery where they went missing or something like that. And then that's the second storyline, the historical part. And it's so well. I actually read 3 of her series. She got 3 series going at the same time. I actually read all 3 of her series. This one made my list because I like that one of the other series they did a crossover in this series, so that just added to it for me. But I highly recommend that one as well. The next one is Home and Away by Rochelle Ayers. And actually, I have a 2-parter with Rochelle Ayers. This one and Take the Long Way Home. I read both of these in last year. And this one is the most recent, Home and Away. And it's about the Negro Baseball League. And it's also a parallel storyline. And this one is a let me go to it. Okay, so it's about a Negro Baseball League, and it follows Moses. This is the historical part. Follows Moses as he navigates the league, and it's the first time that he's left home and being able to travel outside his small little town, southern town. And it also shows how he has to navigate experiencing racism and Jim Crow South in different places that they have to play, and being heckled by the white crowds. And then the modern parallel story is his great granddaughter, who is a journalist, and she wants to find out more about his journey in his life, and then she starts writing his biography. Very, 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 very well done, by Rochelle Ayers. And I highlighted this one before on my show, but this one is also by her. Let me take that off.
Wasn't she on your show when you talked about that one?
Which one?
The one you're holding up now, the long
Yeah,
way.
she was on the show when I talked about this one. Take the long way home. This one, Long Way Home, is 525 pages. Home and Away is not as long. I think that one is maybe not sure.
Like
I think it's
100 something thing.
yeah. They're both well done. This one, Take the Long Way Home, actually is my favorite of the 2, but they're both very, very, very good.
They are BA books, but they are well worth it. I've read them both also.
Yes. Can't say enough about them. If you like historical fiction, romance, whatever, you will like these. And their sagas, especially Take the Long Way Home. I was telling her on the show, Erica, you were in the audience. I was telling her on the show that it reminds me, if you all ever used to read Danielle Steele, her Jules saga, it reminds me of that. Very, very well done. Let's see. Next one, Jennifer, you were on the show with me on this one. Every Black Girl Dances, and that's
Yes.
by Candace Johnson. And this was it was so good. And
It
this
was.
was my first read by this author. And it's about when you look at the title, it makes you think one thing, but when you actually read it, it's something totally different. And the title is basically a metaphor for how Black females have to dance or navigate through different scenarios throughout their life. The story focuses on the heroine J.C. Burke, a young dark-skinned filmmaker she went from film school to Hollywood, um, churning out Black trauma films that have made her a household name, but she pays a price for it. And the story was so well done. I could relate to JC, and I said this on the show because she dealt, even though she had this successful career professionally, she dealt with a lot of insecurities and dealt with a lot of things in her personal life. She dealt a lot with colorism, which is a lot that we deal with in the Black community. Because she's a dark skinned woman, people would always give her like these backhanded compliments. You're so great, you're so pretty for this dark skin, you know. So she had to deal with stuff like that. And I was telling the author that I could relate to that because I remember people saying stupid stuff like that when I was growing up. And she like I said, she was successful professionally, but she suffered like in her personal life with her boyfriend, who also used to give her like backhanded compliments and degrade her. But she stuck with him because it felt she was, they had history. And I think she thought that she didn't deserve any better. So when a new love or a new person came into her life that was better for her, she wouldn't take the chance because I think she didn't think that she didn't deserve that happiness. But I also think it's because you know how you get familiar with somebody and it's easier to stay there instead of taking a chance on a new love. So she was dealing with that. And one of the things that stood out to me, the descriptions and stuff that the author made in the book, like there was a scene where they did a roller skating choreograph scene, and it was so well done that I could like visualize the scene. And then she introduced me to a lot of new music too that she had throughout the book. So it just hit on every front. Jennifer, you want to say anything about it, or do you even remember? I know you read them.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember it. It was my first read by that author too, and I enjoyed it so much because I had made it my mission last year to read authors out of my comfort zone. So
Mhm.
that was really impressive. She did an amazing job with that book.
Yes, she did. Um, Myra said she loved Jules too by Daniel Steele. That's still one of my top favorite reads too from when I was younger. So Myra, if you read Take the Long Way Home, that will give you that type of feel. Excuse me. I will start
Suzette
coughing.
does a lot of dual timeline books too that are really good.
Who?
Suzette Harrison,
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
yeah, she does a lot of those duels lately that have been really
And
good.
I used to stay away from those because, like I was telling y'all earlier, um, I usually always like it was one that I was drawn to more than the other one, whichever I mean, as far as the storylines. And then it always took me out of the story when it went to another one. But these last two that I've been reading, I've really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah, but
Um,
Suzette got me with the what was it, the girl at the back of the bus?
oh
Yes.
yeah, hmm,
Yeah, she got me with that one. I was like, okay, I'm like you, I can do the dual timeline.
right, right. Um, I think it depends on the author too, because it's still something that I still put down because I can't get into it, but or it
Yeah.
frustrates me when I'm going back and forth.
Hmm.
So I think it just depends. And then the next one is, and this y'all gonna let us cover. You know I'm a cover girl. The Daughter of the Merciful Deep
Ah.
by Leslie Penelope, and this was my first read from her. And I had been hearing about the book because some of the YouTubers have been talking about it. So I looked at the cover and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this. And then I liked it so much that I asked her to come on the show. Um, but the synopsis is: a black woman journeys into a submerged world of gods and myth to save her home in this powerful historical fantasy that shines a light on the drowned black towns of the American South. The author on my show stated that she had an idea of an all black city of Atlantis. So that's what she had in her head. The story follows Jane Edwards, who, because of her a childhood trauma, hasn't spoken since she was 11 years old when armed riders expelled her family from their hometown along with every other black resident. Now, 12 years later, she's found a haven in an all black town in Awanasa. But the construction of a dam promises to wash her home under the waters of the new lake. Then a man with uncanny abilities arrives in town hinting at gods and ancestral magic. Jane senses that she knows this man. Only the last time that she saw him, he was dead.
Mm.
Yeah. So my and then I like too, like you said, when you learn something from the historical portion, because I had heard about the burned out black towns,
Mhm.
but I had never heard about the drowned towns. And so she had named some of the through her research some of the true drowned towns. I think Myra had looked it up while we were on the show, and she had told us the name of the towns. But because I had never heard of that before, so I love that aspect of it, and I also love the aspect of underwater utopia, even though it wasn't utopia because it wasn't perfect, but it was still an all black city underwater um, that was a safe haven because the the white riders were coming into this new town that they had found a haven in after leaving the first town and threatening to saying if you don't move, we're going to forcibly remove you. So they were in a desperate situation, and this was like, but they still were like leery because you would be, and this strange man come and say, "Follow me, and I have a safe space for you," but it's underwater. And then when they start talking about gods and stuff like this, because Jane's father is a Baptist preacher, so he was like, "Is this demon
Mhm.
worshiping and all this kind of stuff?" So it was very layered, very well done, and I think you all will enjoy it. And throughout the towards the end, she finds her voice again. Um, but
I
it's very very well done.
I remember you did that show. I ended up buying it. I haven't read it yet,
Oh,
but
there you go. Okay,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have
very well
to,
done.
I have to move it up for this year.
You will enjoy it. Now this was my first time reading Rebecca Yarros, and I had been hearing about this book all over. And when I tell you it was not hyped up, this book is very, very good. The world building is epic. And I'll read you the synopsis. It's enter the brutal and elite world of a war college for dragon riders. 20-year-old Violet Surringale was supposed to enter the scribe convent, living a quiet life among books and history because she loves books and being by herself. Now her mother, who is the commanding general, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become elite Navarro dragon riders. It puts you in the mind of like maybe the movie the movie Divergent, but with dragon riders. Um, and like I said, the world building is so top tier in this, and I really felt for Violet. You really the character development is awesome as far as Violet and the rest of them. Um, and you experience what she's experiencing when she's going through this like boot camp for dragon riders. And she's not a physical person. She's not an athletic person, so she struggles, and to the point where she break bones and has to heal. But she has a strong will, so she's determined to succeed. And the dragons, they have to actually they choose their rider, and if they don't like you, they can kill you. So they have that tension too. What's up?
I'm laughing at Mama Tony's face.
Mama Toy, I'm telling you, if you like, do you read fantasy?
No, ma'am.
I think you told me that before, but yes.
Mm-mm.
Anybody who reads fantasy will love, 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 love this book. And the descriptions are so vivid. You just get all of it, the sensory, and I think it's supposed to become a, I think it's supposed to become a movie, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but it was so well done, and I highly recommend it. The next one is, and I've been reading this series for a while as well. This was the latest one, that I read, and it was excellent. This, and I think I've told some of you all about this, the Celtic Brooch series by Catherine Laurie Logan. And this was the latest book, The Moonstone Brooch, and it is a time travel romance, historical, historical and modern. So it's excellent. It's excellent, excellent. And it takes her about it comes out like her next book comes out like every year and a half, because she does so much research, and it shows in her writing. And this is the one I told you that's like 700 and some pages, Erica.
Oh boy, I see it's 13 books in this series.
Huh?
How many?
It's 13 books in this series.
Yes, and
Wow.
it's ongoing. The first book is the Ruby Brooch, and that's still my favorite, but all of them are excellent. And what I like is that she incorporates her historical fiction into real life historical figures. So the last several books have been centered around Teddy Roosevelt and his different milestones.
Okay.
But you also get the McClellan clan, and what I like about it is blood family, but it's also found family, because it's only certain ones that are able to travel and know about the brooches. So it brings them all together, and they become a family. Um, and they all go back. The brooch takes them to different places that they need to be in order to find their soulmate. It's just beautifully done, and you learn a lot about history.
From your mouth to God's ears.
It is so well done. And if you like historical romance, and you like finding out about history and all of that incorporated, you'll like it. It is she's a white author, so she's not a black author. But it's very well done. My honorable mention is The Secret World of Maggie Gray.
I heard about that
I've
book.
heard about this one too.
Yeah, and I have to say, when I first picked it up, I put it down, and then I waited a while. And I'm a mood reader, so I have to be in the mood for certain things. So when I picked it back up, though, I got so engrossed in this story. It was so unique and so well done. It's Maggie Gray by Granger, and it follows Maggie Gray, where she finds out there's a secret world of magical beings, and it's set at a magical HBCU. And the college students are not like 18-year-olds or anything like that. They're actually like in their 20s and 30s. I guess because of how that they live a long time. And the name of the HBCU is Drew Collins. And she ends up and can't figure out why she's there, because she doesn't know anything about her lineage. But she has the head of full white hair that is characteristic of the first family of vampires. While she's there, she finds her tribe of other misfits, um, and they form a bond. And you get all kind of magical beings in this. You get vampires, you get sirens, you get shifters, witches, all kind of things. Um, you also get a possible romance. We don't know where it's going yet. in the first book, but she has a possible romance with the shifter. You also get some mystery because a mystery happens that they have to figure out what happened. But I just love the premise of the story. It's an all black cast of characters. And like I said, it's set around this magical world at this HBCU. So I just thought it was very unique and very well done. Um, my second um, mention is similar to Fourth Wing as far as it also reminded me a little bit of Divergent. This one is called Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This was my first book by her. And it's a series. I don't believe I think it's probably 4 books, and I don't think the fourth one is out yet. But it was you get so much like intrigue and action, and it's part of the Kindred's Curse saga. In a mortal world colonized by gods and ruled over their cruel magical offspring called Descendant, healer Diem Bellator yearns to escape her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of descendant royalty and unlock a web of mysteries left behind by her mother. This is an epic fantasy romance with a feisty heroine who discovers that she has powers and trying to navigate between being in the world of the elite and still staying true to her friends in the mortal world who are on the low rung in this caste system society. It was very, 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 very well done. But you have to like fantasy. And then I'm gonna do just
Do
two
that.
mentions. One was Backshot Ready by India Norfleet.
Oh, oh, okay. Look at that tagline. Oh, okay. Wow.
And I told you I don't do a lot of erotica anymore just because I sometimes it doesn't have a strong enough plot for me sometimes. But India's I thoroughly enjoy. And it's about a waist bead designer and plus size model named Duchess who's attracted to Judah Calaveri from the moment they met. But thanks to having to nurse one too many broken hearts, she wasn't willing to be anything more than friends. So Duchess was afraid of losing their friendship and wasn't willing to take it there. But she knew that he had feelings for her and romantic feelings. So, but then she kept playing games with him and telling him about her sexcapades with other men. And she was playing with his heart. And in order to safeguard his heart, he cut her out of his life. Um, And what I loved about the book, I love that Judah's character and his relationship with his brothers and father were well portrayed. I also loved when he gave his heart totally and fully. He showed his love completely. But when you played with him and his heart, he was as cold as ice. He was cold, frigid. Um, I also like the different layers because the family had some interesting dynamics as well. They had abandonment issues based on their mother leaving them when they were younger. The oldest brother definitely struggled with that and made um, some decisions that were not very good in the story. And then for those who like erotica, you're gonna get that. You gonna get that in spades with this book. Uh, Jennifer knows she was on the show with me when we talked to India about this book. Um, so I can't recommend it enough. This one I'm just going to briefly touch on because I talked about it on the show. But if you like paranormal, check out Sydney a Day, Dragon Master Crimson Thunder. It started out on Kindle Vella, which it was like pulling teeth for me. It was frustrating because I want to read it all in
Right.
one sitting. But when I tell you that it's very well done, it's a World of Dragons, and it's a spinoff of her Le Patron series. So
Isn't that the alternate pen name for Erosa Knowles?
I don't know. I don't think so. Is it?
Is it? I know she had one. I had to look, but I don't know why that just popped in my head.
I don't know because I've only known her by Sydney a Day, so I don't know.
Have to look.
I think so. I think so, Erica. The more I think about it, yeah, I think that's Erosa's pen name. Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. Um, but everyone in the audience, I hope that you took notes. Erica, I see your additional honorable mentions. Everything Spice by Marley Ray, Anuri by Bailey West, Lipstick Diaries, Heartless by Ty, Mega
Yeah.
Man by Mel Dog. I agree, Mega Man was very, very good. Waiting on You by Monica Waters. You know, I need to read Bailey West. I have several of her books that I still have to read. Um,
Which one did you put in there, Erica? Which Bailey
Uh,
West?
Anuri.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
Yeah, the one she's doing a collab with actually Marley, and
Oh, okay.
they have these books. Because if you read Bailey's the Samuel Valentine books,
I haven't read
he,
those.
okay, well he has this spot in St. Louis, this neighborhood that he basically bought and like revitalized,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Greenwood, and they named it after Tulsa neighborhood. And so it's all black owned businesses, and they're offering like lower interest rate loans to people, and they buy houses and stuff. And
Okay.
so they're starting to do a collab with different businesses and the people who own them in that particular neighborhood. So
Okay.
it's really good. So they just started this series with there's a it's a hair salon and a barber shop that's in
Mm-hmm.
one building, and it's connected by like this one hallway. And so they just started doing the books about the people who work in the barber shop. So
Okay.
it's really good.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I like the blues series, so the bluette, so
Bluettes, yes.
heartbeat matching, that was good.
Oh
So
yeah.
which one should I start with? Since it's gonna be my first read.
Well, I mean, like Blues Beauty is amazing.
Yeah.
The whole Bluette, and then she's got one Loving Man. That one's one of my favorites. I love that one.
Loving Man.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah, Loving Man was my first introduction into Bailey West, and oh, it was so
Okay.
good.
I haven't
Whew.
read that one. But yeah, I started out with bluette.
yeah.
The
Loving
bluette.
another one. Guy went to like some work conference and hooked up with this woman. He goes back home. She finds out she's pregnant, and they were just gonna do like the co-parenting thing. They weren't in a relationship, wasn't trying to be in a relationship. She dies a couple days after she gives birth. So now he goes home with this newborn. He was not
Mm,
expecting to go home with the baby. It was gonna be
right.
one day I'll come out and visit him until I can take him, with me on extended trips and whatnot. And so now he's raising this newborn because the mother died because of um it was an issue after she gave birth, and they sent her home, and she went to the hospital and was like, something doesn't feel right, and they ignored her. They was like, oh well, just go home, take some Tylenol or whatever, you'll be fine. And she ends up dying from a sepsis infection.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Mm.
Yes. And
About to read that one.
so
Mhm.
he ends up taking the baby home and having to raise it. So that was a good one.
Hmm. Now,
Yes.
which one is that one?
That's Loving Man.
Okay. Okay.
That one's also on audio. And so is the Bluette series.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
definitely want to audio the bluette series because them
The
definitely
they
400 pages.
Oh,
I read it though. I actually read it.
you
I didn't
did. Okay.
actually read it.
yeah,
And I
they
think I read all three within 4 days. That's how good they
Oh,
are.
really? Okay. Hmm.
yeah.
Uh, Island is saying she took a whole bunch of notes of
Mhm.
our picks, and Princess is saying that she's making a list.
Princess, you supposed to be writing. Don't be making no reading. You ain't
Uh-oh.
got to.
Myra, Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes by Jacqueline Cox.
Ooh,
Okay, let me write this down. Wait a minute.
right.
Let me do a screenshot because I, my writing pad don't died and I don't ran out of paper.
I never heard of that. Okay, let me see.
Mm,
By Jacqueline Cox.
Jacqueline Cox.
that's interesting. Oh, that's only $1.50 on Kindle. Dang.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Let me
The
write. Okay. Which
Or
one?
maybe nope. I take
And
it back. I'm sorry. It's $3. I got credits. My
You
bad.
got credit.
how come I never see credits on my thing? As much as I buy through them, do I have to do something special, Erica, for
You
To get
probably
credit.
missing it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
bet you probably done threw away a whole lot of credit.
I probably am.
Probably missing it.
Every time you buy, you get some points, and every time you get up to 300, you kick over, you get a credit. You probably
Oh man, I probably didn't.
you
I got
not paying
credits from
attention.
ordering certain stuff and having it delivered different days. I get credits that way.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh
And,
man, I probably been missing out on a whole bunch
and
of
then some
stuff.
days when you buy books, they give double credit. So if a book is worth
Yep.
9 points today,
That was
you wait
yesterday.
till
Yesterday
tomorrow,
was the
it
other day.
may be 18 points. Yeah, you probably
Mhm.
threw away a whole.
Yep.
I probably have.
Cause
Oh
yep,
man.
cause I definitely use them credits once I reach them 300 points.
In a
Heard.
heartbeat.
And I know I've definitely have should have had that several
Right.
times over as many as books as I've read through them. But
And then
I'll
like
check them out, Myra. I would just wrote them down. John, I never even heard of this. John Woman by Walter Mosley. I have to check that out too.
That a new one by him.
Is that a new one, Myra, by Walter Mosley? she said the same thing. She said thank you, Shabana, for letting her know about.
Oh, does she need to be writing? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
says John Woman came out in 2018.
it came out in 2018. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'll check it out because I like Walter Mosley. Um, Myra said yes, she used her credits too. Y'all making me feel okay, so I got to pay attention to. Oh man! All
You
right, well,
probably don't have some and ain't realize it because you
oh,
be
I'm
young.
sure, yeah, I'm
Yeah, you
sure I
probably
have.
had a lot of them slip by you.
Or
Mm-hmm.
not even slip by. They probably applied them. She just ain't realized it because she be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible. Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm gonna check. But I want to thank you, ladies, for coming on and sharing your picks this year for 2024. And those of you in the audience, thank you so much for coming out. And I hope that you enjoyed the show. And if you didn't see the show, the Books and Mimosas from last year, please check that out as well. It was some very good picks on that one too. So check that out. And then some of the authors that we talked about was on the show. If you missed the show, make sure to go back through and check them out. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and then you can find it on my website, Book Buzz Show at, I mean, I'm about to give you the bookbuzzshow.com. Not keep the off, it's just bookbuzzshow.com. And you can find the videos there as well. All right. Thank you everyone for coming out. I enjoyed it. And I have so many books now that that I need to add to my already ever growing
I think we
TBR.
all do.
Right.
Oh man.
And
But
then,
I'm excited because some of these when you all were talking about what it's about, I was excited about it. So I'm going to check them out. All righty. Anybody have any last comments or anything before we sign off?
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
yeah,
welcome.
thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. And I cannot tell y'all enough. Make sure to check out the Delgado Family Series and Riffs and Refrain. Well, all of them, all of them. But I just been gushing over the Delgado family. I just love
Yeah.
me some Capone and
Mm.
Capadonna.
I think I
All
gotta
righty.
take me some.
Erica, I ain't gonna steer you wrong. You gotta try it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Night,
Night,
Good night.
Good
everybody.
night.
Mm.